Well,
Hey,
what happened last time on Ebon Ward?
Pickle Slayer
last
69, thank you for the gift subs. Keep going.
thank you. Last time on Ebon Ward, Redpath convinced Matthias to hide Deletta on the Green Apple until things calmed down before he regrouped with the party at Hushstone Prison. With some more time to kill before meeting the Hairsifts, the group headed over to the art of it all and found Purity Lionheart and her shy friend Marigold. Before long, Victoria Rivaldi, the owner of the establishment, came out to say hi, and Maze realized she looked exactly like the woman from his portrait, but notably a tad older. He requested an art lesson from her, and everyone partook in a wonderful time with Redpath as the model. They said their goodbyes and headed over to the docks to meet Embernice, but Redpath encountered an old friend, Artigan Finn, a half-elf that worked with the chef. For a long while. When he was in Leviara last. Oh, what is this sentence? What did I write?
Oh, I love
They
that.
knew each other. They worked with each other a long time ago, but now he's a chauffeur for the Hairsif ships. At the Hairsif estate, the group could quickly feel the tension in the family, mostly directed towards Oleander. Pride Lionheart and Lawmaster Conrad Rivaldi also joined the discussion. The party laid out their case for going to Blackthorn Manor to investigate it and learned the status of the dangerous vampire, but Lawmaster Rivaldi was vehemently against it, with Oleander supporting him. Redpath pointed out how the Hairsif family was a mess, and Amaranth noticed her father's change in opinion, so took matters into her own hands as best she could. She presented a wager to the group. She couldn't just give them the compass because it would be a political nightmare, but did allow talented individuals the opportunity to attempt to rob the hoard of House Hairsif with little consequences. If they could successfully steal the compass, it was theirs to do with as they pleased. Her only stipulations were they tell her how they got through her security and not kill anyone during the attempt. The party agreed to the terms, but Dia asked to at least see the hoard, which Amaranth was more than pleased to show them. And so, you all got on a little boat and made your way over to the. This isn't correct for the Horde of House Hairsif. I need something a little more.
Just a little too chill.
Yeah, we'll do Amaranth's theme. Whoa, that's loud.
Whoa.
So I'll bring you over to the Horde. All right, and then I will ping. So it's about like a 10-15 minute ride out, and the sun is like starting to set, which makes it apparent that this thing is borderline a beacon. As you are approaching, there is this very soft, warm orange glow that comes from it, courtesy of the small active volcano as well as the multitude of braziers that are also filled with magma. It also helps that there are many fire giants that actually guard the perimeter, and they themselves are illuminated with flame just because of their nature. You do notice that the outside of this building also has more of those Hairsif butterflies. And so you all get off the boat, and Pride just kind of hangs out on the ship. Yes, I'm quite all right here, actually, so... You know, Artigan's like, my man, just hang out, don't get involved.
Oh, okay. It's a little smaller than I expected, to be honest. I was imagining a sprawling complex with lots of, I don't know, parapets and watchtowers and I don't know. Maybe, is there more underground?
Amaranth simply nods. Yes, there is a little bit more underground. This is more what the general public will see.
I'll reserve judgment then.
Yes. Now, obviously, I can only take you in so far. But, Embernice kind of scoots up. Hello, boys! And she makes her way inside. This little batch of folks keep on moving. You see that they also have eelhounds. If you had to guess, the reason is because since fire giants can't swim, they can at least send out the eelhounds to go after if a boat does get off the ground. And
Are these like, I guess, just like enclosed sort of, just like thing? What are these?
They appear to be these like open vents that lead down into like actual moving magma.
Okay.
It seems to be a way to release pressure without the risk of a volcanic explosion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so Tabitha actually excuses herself. I actually remembered, I probably need to wrap up a little bit more paperwork here. Oh, yeah, please go for it. And Tabitha makes her way out. And you once again find Brutus actually chitty-chatting with a small family. Brutus hands them some paperwork. Yes, congratulations on your new home. That's very exciting. Obviously, if you also need assistance moving in, the Hersey family would be more than happy to move furniture. It's a bit of a breeze for fellows like myself. And of course, me and my niece. And he like rustles her hair a little bit.
And my Ember niece.
Yeah. Amaranth just kind of steps off to the side and gestures to the rest of the building. Rosa kind of pops off to the side. I do hope that Brutus has been helpful with this whole process. Oh, absolutely. It's the main reason that we even came here. So thank you so much for this. Are there boats ready? We actually just had a boat here. So if you wanted to, you're more than welcome to take that. And these nice folks make their way out, and they hold their little girl's hands as they walk out, who is ecstatic about the new home that they've got. Right. Well, as you can see, this is the main lobby of the Horde of House Hersif. Any sort of withdrawals or deposits you need to make, you're more than welcome to make them at the front. And she gestures with her cane, where you can see some individuals chitty-chatting through this like kind of barred off area, clearly to avoid anyone from just diving over the counter and stirring up trouble. You do notice that this room is exceedingly warm because once again, there's more of those like volcanic tracts of magma beneath.
I was about to ask, is this covered or can you just step down into magma and die?
It's glass.
Okay.
And you would wager there's also some magic abjuration that like also prevents the heat from actually escaping and passing through.
So is all
What's
this
the purpose of these? Are these just for decoration or lighting?
Embernice looks over. Amaranth nods. It's definitely more eccentric design than anything. It's meant to show how much control we have over fire and whatnot. And she just kind of like brushes a hand. I find it to be a bit much, but the amount of work it would take to remedy this, it's just safer to leave it as it is, to be quite frank. You can thank good old Briony Hersif. They were even more eccentric than my own father. So...
all this magma flowing from the an active chamber in the heart of the island or something?
She nods. Something like that. As you've noticed, we have a couple of volcanoes on this island. Don't worry, they are under control, and they've never had an eruption since their initial summoning. So, but as you can see, she gestures over to the east. We also have various meeting rooms with any of our bankers that can help with loans, or even just be present for business negotiations if you feel like you want an extra set of eyes for a negotiation. And of course, to our left is a, if you were to personally go to one of our vaults, you would be scanned for magical items as well as a true identity spell. So, Now, it's not exactly perfect, but it is pretty damn good. And she smiles and steps up to Brutus. And then after that, you would have access to the vaults. And she gestures to the far north, and you can see just through the like metal fencing that there is this big set of red doors.
So that's where all the vaults where individuals' possessions are kept in sort of safety deposit box kind of things?
Brutus puts his hands behind his back. Precisely. To be fair, though, it's mostly for general public use. However, things of a higher security are held deeper. He smiles and looks down at Amaranth to confirm, like, I'm allowed to tell them that, right? And Amaranth nods. Yes. So, your prize, the thing that you would be looking for, is a little deeper.
And are these, Dia looks off to the side, are these all, offices, meeting rooms, that kind of stuff?
Brutus shakes his head. No, actually, that room is what Lady Haresif was just describing, actually. Do you... Amaranth smiles. We might as well give them a chance. Right then. If you'll follow me. And he walks on over and reaches over this guard to open this door. And you can see that there is a red dragonborn sitting there with, like, just filing out some paperwork. Sees the door open. Yes, so that very fancy rune there is used to study people as they walk in. Essentially identify any possible magical items that they have on themselves. It's a very potent identifier. It can actually tell us specifics, unless it's a very potent magical item. Then might need a little more time. Not to mention, impressively, he puts a finger up, it has a next of kin sort of deal. So if someone were to step on there, not only would we know who you are, but it can tell us at least which family you are related to. So in case you were a nasty little criminal, we know who to talk to first.
Who's the most scandalous individual you've had revealed here?
He thinks about that. We did have an individual who happened to be related to a nastier fellow by the name of, bugger, what was his name again? Leonard Hunch, known as Lenny. Hunch is a fairly known pirate around here, so it was quite surprising to see that he had relatives. He's in prison now, I assure you, though. But, and then through those doors is what would lead you to further in.
Deeper and deeper. Oh, okay, so it's not even a layer down from the normal vaults. It's all the high security stuff is choke pointed here to this sigil. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it is also a means to give you access to, he gestures to the north again, while high security, I assure you. The items that would be most frequently requested. This is withdrawals and deposits mostly, or personal effects that you'd like to maintain in a more secure position. The deeper part of the Horde of House Hersif is meant for the, what exactly, hold on, I guess I might have missed a beat. Amaranth, you mentioned that they were interested in going down there. She smiles. Yes, these fine individuals are going to be helping us test our security once again. Oh, all right. Haven't had that in a while. Not many brazen people these days. What are they hoping to acquire? The compass, actually. And you notice that the only reason why you know that she said compass is that she actually kind of like signs something. And does kind of like a magical enchantment so that this guard doesn't hear. And she makes sure that you guys are still in the loop, though.
Right.
And Brutus nods. Oh, I see. That is certainly a high security item, to be sure. But, yes, well, good luck. He just kind of nods.
I'm sure we'll need it.
Oh, yes, most certainly. He nods very confidently.
When we pass through here and pass over your tattletale sigil, is that going to announce everything you said out loud, or does it go to some kind of secret registry?
She thinks about how much she wants to divulge, then she's like, it's written down automatically on a ledger nearby. And she goes through, and I can help prove that to you. She marches forward and steps in, and this dragonborn. Right, sorry, one moment, ma'am. And you see that there is a flare of energy that highlights her, and you actually notice that as this light goes off, it like visibly shows where magical items are on Amaranth Hersif. And looking at her, the magical items that she does have on her is a necklace, something in the breast pocket of her jacket, and then her cane. And after a couple of moments, Dragonborn's like, yep, that's Amaranth Hersif, all right. You're able to proceed, miss. Thank you.
Now would be a
And-
really funny time to find out that she's an illegitimate child.
I can't
yes, I've
believe.
walked through this door 10 times a week, and
Just
yet
no one told her.
No, like, I think there would have been more of a reaction.
Yeah.
Like, holy fuck!
I'm shitting and farting.
She steps on through. Oh, feel free. Whatever you're carrying, I'm not going to be reporting it.
Oh, that's good. You've got some weird stuff.
considerably weird.
Yeah, once again, all of your magical items, which would be your gloves, your big-ass spoon, your cloak, all that sort of stuff highlights. The Dragonborn looks up. You're welcome to go more than one at a time if you like. This is pretty impressive stuff.
Real quick, who in our party has the bag of holding? Is that Maze?
Yes.
That's Maze.
Okay. Dia's gonna carefully watch to see whether it just highlights the bag of holding or whether it penetrates into the extra dimensional space and knows what's inside the bag of holding.
Interesting. I will say, you watch and it highlights it, and it like notably is a little brighter, but that might be because a bag of holding is like impressive magic, to be frank.
But I don't see any, the way you described it before, it sounded like every individual thing was kind of illuminated, like highlighted separately. I don't see any like extra silhouettes
Nope.
inside of it.
No, the best way to phrase it is like each one of them will highlight a color based on the school of magic.
Okay.
God,
Well-
Red Path's just lit up like a fucking Christmas tree.
To be fair, I think we all kind of are.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the Dragonborn looks down and is like, wow. Whew, you guys are, you're well
And-
stocked.
What would occur if you did not have any sort of records of next of kin or anything of that sort?
He thinks about that for a moment, and Amaranth looks back. If there are no direct records, unfortunately, it would be difficult to track precisely who they are. Luckily, most people, a vast majority, have any amount of family to directly connect to.
Convenient.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dia
let's see.
stares. Why don't
Yeah.
you go, Nash?
Oh, okay.
Yep. So you step on in, and once again, Scream Eater lights up big
Oh
time.
my god, Scream Eater is like so bright.
Yeah.
Most
You're
of the other magical items on me are kind of like, oh yeah, +2 clip of resistance and stuff.
I mean,
Yeah, it's plague
it's still more magical items than most people.
Than a normal person, yeah.
The Dragonborn looks down and is like, "Oh, the shoes let you climb on walls. Cool."
Holy fuck.
he's like
Aw.
genuinely like, "That's so cool."
It is cool.
And you notice that he's like writing some extra little notes as you guys are getting in. And Amaranth kind of leans on her cane a bit. You're welcome to keep coming, sir.
Oh, okay. Don't know magic well. Thought had to wait.
No, you're fine. This operates very quickly, but I appreciate your cooperation. And
It's
she
like I
just
said
kinda
before,
smiles.
Nash, magic is cheating. It just works way quicker.
Amaranth nods. It is, but a lot of times you do have to work quite hard for it. But I won't argue. Yes, it's bullshit.
Dia kind of leans in on this desk with an elbow down a little. Before, can I have a second with you before I step across there?
Oh, you're gonna butter me up? This should be fun. What's up? He leans on the table.
Mostly, I just want to clarify something. What ends up in your notes there? Is that something that is exclusively referenced by you or other employees there? Is that something that
Are you gonna
people
sell
can
my information
ask
to a third
see?
party?
Yeah. What's your party policy on third-party cookies?
I see. A very reasonable concern. The Harrison family is dedicated to security, so this sort of stuff, he just pats the papers. we maintain different parts of the facility. We do not sell this back. The only time that this would be referenced is if there was an ongoing investigation for individuals. That is the only time that this would become more readily available. But even then, that would be only for law officials.
Yeah.
This isn't something we just sell to people, especially like if someone's a creeper and has some gold they want to find out about someone. Don't fret. We keep this locked up good.
Okay, that does put my mind a bit at ease. And then, I suppose related, would it be possible for me to read what is written about me after I step across?
He thinks about that, and Amaranth thinks about that. Huh, it's an interesting request. You know what, sure. Obviously, I would limit it to what is written about you.
Oh, of course. I mean, I just asked about privacy, so...
Yes, but yes, I don't see why not. Consider this your truest opportunity to learn the first level of security.
Sure.
So once again, that energy. And there is like this moment where the platinum arm flickers and then fades. And luckily
he's higher level, baby.
I'm not magic, I promise.
I'm
just a little guy.
Brutus seems to like notice something as his eye just kind of like cocks up a bit, but he doesn't think too much of it. And Dragonborn's like, right, and here's a little piece of paper if you wanted to take a gander.
Sure thing. Yeah, is it in the notes, or does he have a copy for me to look at?
He has a copy for you.
Okay. Yeah, she will take that. I think she takes it from him, she considers for a moment, and she folds it up and tucks it away and is not gonna look at that right now.
Alrighty.
But she proceeds on.
Brutus steps on up and big old energy. Let's see here. Does he have any magical items? Because it would only be fair if you could see
Right.
what he has on him. You do notice that this very heavy mace he carries at his side is indeed magical.
Yeah.
He has a necklace that gives off divination, but it looks more like decoration and more specifically like more like a holy symbol of a god than anything. And he does have a little headband as well as a cloak that are magical. So he's actually pretty well
Reasonable.
stocked. So, and you do notice that the building is designed in a way where Brutus can like walk around with absolutely no problems.
Oh, that's good.
High ceilings, baby.
I'd feel bad if even here they hadn't bothered to accommodate it in the architecture.
Oh, do I want to give you this much information? Surely thinks about it. Yeah, I suppose. Why not? And she goes up, she goes up to this door, presses her hand on it, and you see it open. This is a much heavier door than any of the other ones.
Yeah, I bet.
That you've encountered. And the moment this door opens, can I have everyone make a fortitude save?
Fucking blast of heat.
Well, that was almost a number.
Cool.
Damn, Nash. Holy fuck.
Nash, you are totally fine. Dia, you are fine. Maze and Redpath.
Our punchlines as usual.
Sorry. There is this massive blast of heat that comes through. And you are not fatigued, but the next closest thing for stat-wise is you are sickened. Just from the warmth of it all.
Oh god, I thought tabletop gaming was supposed to be an escape from reality.
Yeah, no, great. I love being in a volcano in real life too. Great.
Amaranth just kind of smiles. Oh, that's right. Sorry. As you might have guessed, there is a reason why this isn't generally open to the public. Well, actually,
It's no problem for fire giants, right?
Oh, not at all. If anything, it's greatly appreciated whenever we get to venture on downwards, just because it's a little chilly up here. And you know that, like, Leviara is, like, usually the high
Pretty hot,
70s,
yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty hot.
Pretty hot. No, she doesn't have that sort of spell for you, unfortunately. I was checking to see if she might have anything for resisting elements. Oh, actually, Brutus comes up. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. And he reaches out to both of you, Redpath and Maze, and he will give you resist elements.
Thank goodness.
Hooray!
You still have the sickened effect. I don't think it's going to matter too much right now.
Oh god, it felt like all the moisture was pulled out of my goddamn throat.
Yes, this is what's wonderful, isn't it?
Normally not that bad about this kind of heat, being in kitchens, but I think it was just, I didn't expect it all at once.
I guess we really should have, considering our geographical spot, but my god.
God.
Yeah. And then Amaranth waits for no one. She just motors on down those stairs. And you do know that, like, as you go, it's wicked dark. Like, they don't even bother with lights down here.
Do fire giants have dark vision?
They
Fire
do.
giants have a source of light.
Yeah, I mean, that is the
suppose,
biggest
yeah.
thing. And that's the thing is you notice is that as Brutus follows you, there is, like, this light from behind you. So here, let me copy you guys over.
And it's very different from entirely well-lit, nice above ground to go into the
God.
dark.
Hey, Maze. God damn it. Can we have said that Redpath put all of his food stuff in your bag of holding before they came in here? Because he was like, I don't want that shit to spoil.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to ruin my wine, okay?
Yeah, sure, but it's gonna be rattling around in my bag with loaded firearms and handcuffs, so, if that's chill.
Yes, I would rather it be entirely ruined and just unsalvageable rather than just, oh, well, this tastes kind of crappy.
And so you come down here and you notice that this door is actually glowing from heat.
We have not switched.
Are you're not over here? I pinged.
Ping again,
Yeah,
please.
I see.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
I see.
you can see now? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, no. Amaranth gestures to this door to the south, and you notice that it is just radiating heat as it just glows from the warmth down here. And you can actually feel it. Like the air itself, now that there's a bit more light, courtesy of both of these fire giants, is just orange. And like, I don't know what it's called, but when heat causes your vision to kind of like wiggle,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
from like
Like a heat mirage?
heat mirage. That is what's going on in this entire room.
That's a decent deterrent, yeah.
Yes, and of course, my associates, she gestures up to the fire giant, are not impacted by this in any capacity,
I wouldn't imagine so.
as well as myself. And of course, she gestures, that door will take you deeper into the vaults. Now, I think it's only fair, she spins around and clicks her cane on the ground, that this is probably as far as I can take you. Otherwise, it feels like I'm basically walking you there.
Well, this is probably already farther than a public tour would go, so that's perfectly fine by me. I'll swear.
Most certainly. And honestly, the reason I'm even doing this much is she like, you notice there's a moment where she's like trying to process where people are and then realizes that she's just, with all the heat, she just can't.
Yeah, it's just useless.
Yeah, she's like, one of you spoke up and I appreciated your honesty towards my father. So I felt it was only fair to show a bit more than I normally should.
Yeah, it is really appreciated that you're going through this trouble. You didn't really have to humor us in any capacity. I'm kind of surprised you did.
She thinks about that for a moment. As I've stated before, she gestures to this fire giant to step away for a moment, and he goes in here, and like you know that he very quickly closes it behind him, so you can't really see inside.
Man, my ego eye won't help me that much.
I mean, you could give me a perception check to see.
We can try and sneak a quick peek.
Like, if anyone was going to, I think Nash would be very much like,
oh, yeah.
I mean, Maze is gonna go for it, too. This woman's literally blind.
Nah. I mean, 20's a bad, but with my modifier.
Slightly better!
So, here's what I'll do. I will say that you guys are able to spot... yeah, because of your angle. I'll say that you are able to see this much.
Ooh, that tells us nothing.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah.
And then
Tells us they have another sigil of the hummingbird down there.
Yeah, it's still hot in there.
Well,
It's
most notably, when that door opens again, there was actually a rush
Second
of
wave.
air.
Yeah.
That is far worse than the previous. Luckily, you do have resist elements, but Dia and Nash, even though you succeeded the first time, you really feel it this time. You would wager that being down here, and especially when that door opened, it was probably about 150 degrees.
Jesus Christ.
It's bad. It's not good to be down here. And Amaranth is not breaking a sweat at all. She looks back. Now that we have a little more privacy, I need to make this clear. The things that you brought up at the table, they seem reasonable. There's things that I can get behind, but she puts up a finger. I have to maintain my security measures. If I were to just hand this off to people who have been in town for less than a week?
Oh, it would be horrifically irresponsible of you. I frankly respect that you didn't do that.
She nods. So, this is, and admittedly, this is, as Dia even suggested, a means for me to test your abilities. The Wandering Woods are exceedingly dangerous, and if this Blackthorn character is as threatening as you make him out to be, I need to make sure that whoever's going up there is actually capable of doing so. Because if you were to die out there with the compass, then we lack the means to get there ourselves when we are more properly prepared.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
That's
you know,
fair.
we do have. Oh, wait, hang on. Out of character. Do we have the box that teleports?
Oh, yeah.
Like, did we get it back after we?
What, Toter's box? Yeah, I got that shit.
Okay.
But remember, it only teleports to
Toter
Toter.
Tobble, so it's not
Yeah.
horrifically
It doesn't-
helpful.
Sure. It just means if we go out there with the compass and we're like, welp, we're dead, we do have a backup plan.
There is
by
an
which we could
emergency
be
button,
like,
yeah.
I will fling a light into the future. Go, sweet compass, to Toter
Go!
Tobble!
Bother Toter! Hit him in the head!
Light this motherfucker up! God, yeah.
I have to say, Maze is certainly true that, like, we couldn't reasonably ask for more given how short a time we've been here. But I found it very frustrating arguing against that lawmaster. He did not seem to be arguing in good faith. No matter what point I made, he was just like, well, but consider, what if we did nothing? Rabble, rabble, rabble.
Amaranth nods. That's the older generation for you. They're more interested in sitting on their hands. I'm not interested in such things, which is the reason why, she gestures, I've made some impressive changes to the Horde of House Hersif.
How modest of you.
Well, she you notice that she like kind of tosses her hair a bit. I think it's important to be proud of what you do, as long
Modesty
as...
is for the unsuccessful.
Well, that I feel is a little crude.
No, there's only two options.
That's unfortunate. Well, I guess I'll have to set course to make a new option. But, Rivaldi is an old soul. That's probably very apparent.
Horrifically.
Yes, he's a lot like my father, and many other high-ranking nobles in this city. They are very dedicated to certain courses of action. So.
No,
Quick
thank you.
question.
Oh. Yeah, okay, go
No,
ahead.
just one last little thing. Are we able to? Are you willing to even describe the way this compass looks? Like, what are we going to be looking for here?
That's not something I can help you with, unfortunately.
Ah,
Uh,
yes, of course. Silly
uh,
me.
Brutus nods. With your permission, though, Lady Amaranth. She thinks about that. You probably have a locate object spell, if I had to guess.
That's correct.
Who? That would make things a lot easier for you. But then again, there's a very high chance that most people that are planning to rob the Horde of House Hersuf have an idea of what they're trying to take, anyways. That is fair, Brutus. Are you able to? Yes, I'm able to give you a design of it. If you'd like, what I can do, I can do a full-on sketch of it, go down and do a more accurate depiction of it, and present it to you in the morrow.
Sure, yeah. Well, I'm not going to turn down any advantage if you're willing to grant it.
That'd be
You could just
appreciated.
send it to the hotel we're staying at. That would be more ideal. If
Oh.
anything, I just want to make sure that we're not going to be
Stealing the wrong thing.
stealing the wrong thing, or, you know.
It'd be really embarrassing if we stumbled out of here alive with, like, an astrolabe or a sundial or a
Or,
little clock.
stumbled into your father's,
Oh,
extra
yeah, the
closet
watch
of
collection.
Watches. Yes, stole from that, something stupid.
I'm pretty sure it's
We
pronounced
enter a
astrolabe.
room and there's just 50 identical silvery-looking discs ticking and spinning, and we lose our minds.
Amaranth has a pretty hearty chuckle at that. That's reasonable. Tell you what, I'll tell you this right now. There's only one compass down there. Believe it or not, they're not exactly a hot commodity these days.
Probably not.
That being said, there are other vaults down there, and we have an insurance policy. So, if you decide to be greedy, it should slow you down, allowing us to catch you. So,
Yeah.
feel free to go a little further if you want, and I can't stress this enough. She puts up a hand. We obviously reimbursed everything.
Of course, that's what insurance policy's for.
I want to make that clear.
No,
Obviously-
stealing from a bank is barely stealing at all.
That's a
Go
very,
that.
that's a bold statement.
Slow your fucking roll there, buddy.
But yes, so we will deliver the full sketch of the compass to you tomorrow. Yes, I think that's more than enough.
Actually,
Oh.
there is one more quick thing.
Of course,
You seemed interested in wagers.
I am.
Is anything of your father's down here?
Yes, actually,
All right,
there
then.
are a couple of things down there. I won't tell you which vaults specifically they're in, because you should be able to figure out which ones are his. I'll make that very obvious.
They got
Most
flames drawn on them and like fucking guitars.
Yeah,
and
flame
skeletons.
decals. Let's go.
The doors have sunglasses.
I will say, though, she puts up a finger, what you find in his vaults might surprise you.
How very tantalizing.
Just
Yeah, I was
mountains
gonna
of
say
corn.
weird porn.
No, corn! Like
Oh,
on the
okay.
cob!
Oh god, pornography!
Ew!
You've heard of street corn. Now get ready for bank corn.
She kind of leans on her cane, and no, it's not more clocks. He's got the one.
That's a shame.
But-
I kind of wanted to show him up with that specifically.
Oh, you don't want to go into a clock comparing contest with him.
It's simply too late for that.
Clock measuring.
Oh dear.
That just
Have you-
means you'll just have to swipe it off his person if you really want that own.
If you could do that, gods, I would be impressed.
I'll make an honest attempt at that. I don't want to do anything that might jeopardize our job, but as a side hustle wager, I'll see if I can't lift that watch off of your father.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. I will say, she kind of points at the cane, there's only so much I can do to protect you from him if he catches you. Because that has nothing to do with the Horde of House Hairsim. That's just on him.
Oh, certainly not.
Just wanted to make sure.
It just felt like an idea that might bring a smile to your face.
Well, you've got a pretty good read on me, it seems. And you notice little Humphrey just kind of like lands on her head. And just kind of looks around.
Well, I motion that we go upstairs where it's like 30 degrees cooler immediately.
Right,
idea.
I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. Please, come with me.
That's
And-
fine. Whew.
And Brutus, oh yes, please, hurry. And here.
While we're exiting, Maze is gonna shoot Red Path a quick one, just like, hey, while we're down here, see if you can teleport.
I was about to. All right, never mind. You can try it.
He is going. God damn it. Let me see.
Literally about to say, I'm gonna fall.
Itty bitty teleport. Just
Yeah, no,
a
do
I-
you want
here's
to
the funny
teleport
thing.
1 foot just to see
No,
if
no,
it
no,
works?
no. He.
No.
I do. What the? Oh, okay.
You know what?
I didn't know what that was for a second. I was like, what? So he does have an ability. So we're not starting this tonight, so he's willing to use it now. He will literally do like a 5 foot just while nobody's looking, just to see,
I mean,
because
again,
he can't
one
do
of the
it in-
observant parties is blind, so you should
Yeah.
be able to get away with it pretty easily.
Great. Give me a will save.
That's
Yeah, baby.
That's what we were looking for.
We tomb of horses.
Ah, beautiful.
Cool.
Uh-oh.
So you guys watch as suddenly, in a burst of flame, Red Path disappears.
Oh my god! Red Path just spontaneously combusted.
We knew his time was coming.
Amaranth just smiles. He teleported, didn't he?
Yeah, I wanted to see if it was warded here. I wanted to give you guys the benefit of the doubt, but it never hurts to check.
Yeah, it's warded.
Do we have to pick him up from fire jail now?
I can go procure him.
Okay.
You needn't worry.
Okay. I thought he exploded.
Yeah, no,
No.
that looks scary as hell.
Oh, it's to deter people from doing that, because we normally associate with the situation of if one person teleports, there's likely another spellcaster amongst them.
Oh no, you don't have to justify warding against teleportation.
Ooh. Okay, well, as long as he's alright, I guess.
Mhm.
Alright, onwards
Yeah.
and upwards.
Yep, don't worry. We'll see him in a moment, actually.
Comes floating down the Willy Wonka chocolate river.
Face down.
So I will ping you guys here.
Red Path is a bad egg.
I guess it's useful to know where they get teleported if we flub
Yeah.
up somehow.
He's not
So-
there.
Yeah, show us
No,
the bone
right.
zone.
Sorry.
into the
Oh,
ocean,
I
Pat.
deleted Brutus. Whoopsies.
Yeah,
Oh!
die.
Ah! Yep. So, yeah, no, Red Path, you suddenly appear in the center of the bank, in a molten rock cage.
I see.
We caged you.
And Bernice looks down. You teleported, didn't you?
Yeah, it's fine. He will use Stone Shape to fuck off this cage.
Red Path, when you go to speak, the only things you can say is your true name and what you were doing.
The little crime boy's going to jail. You can't even cast spells that have. Oh no!
The verbal, unless the
Yeah.
verbal component is Red Path, I teleported, Red Path, I.
Yep.
He just shrugs and stands there, hands on his hips. Not my fault.
Amaranth looks over. I won't count that against your attempts. Does that seem reasonable?
It
Oh
does.
yeah, I think if that was his idea, that was pretty clearly a testing the security type thing.
Well, and now you know.
Now we know.
Yeah, you gotta understand, like, I could have just asked, but what if the answer was no, and then you did it?
Right. It would be pretty foolish if we didn't have some amount of teleportation security around here. Strictly because, I mean, we have an academy for wizards and sorcerers.
Yeah, but somehow boneheaded things like that slide through the bars of security more often than you would think. For example, you would have no idea how easy it is to make golems hate one another when you give them the ability to speak.
That's why I have fire giants.
But they also have the ability to speak.
But what are the fire giants' opinions re bears?
Well, I understand what you're talking about. I assume there was some bizarre gossip that went through them, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the problem with golems is that their cores, they aren't meant to think too often. However, once they realize that there is the possibility for social structure in any capacity, it becomes interesting. They focus on it to the point of kind of feedback looping, which is why the gossip spreads so quickly and you have your problems.
So you're telling me this is a well-documented phenomena and we are still able to get away with it?
Only in recent years was it discovered, which is why you normally take extra measures with golems.
Toter out
Fascinating
here
stuff.
making golems for a living! And his
Now-
personal security fell into the golem feedback loop!
This was Flick's fault. Let's be clear here.
If we're gonna be pointing fingers,
Toter for everything!
well, so I guess I'll be fair with Redpath being our guy. I assume it's Redpath in there, considering I haven't heard from him in a while.
Yeah, right on the money.
Well, yes, this is of my own design. She smirks. And it doesn't just apply to strictly the individual that teleports. Depending on how potent of a spellcast it is, you might actually bring everyone into the molten cage. It drops them into the center of the room, thus allowing us to see exactly who they are and to have all of our nearby security procure them. And on top of that, it prevents them from speaking anything besides who they truly are, as well as what their attempted crime was, for an hour.
Whoa. We're gonna be in for a quiet boat ride back to Leviara.
I'm able to dispel it, though, because I have control over this. And she waves her hand, and you watch as the molten cage dissipates. And there is a moment where at your throat, Redpath, there is a hairstiff emblem, but then it fades. It was a good idea, though. It was worth experimenting.
His idea.
Yeah, I
If
can't
you hadn't-
teleport, sorry to say.
If you hadn't done it, I was probably gonna do it. So, thanks for taking one for the team.
Well, she kind of claps her hands together. Is there anything else you were hoping to learn about the Horde of House Hersif while you're here?
I suppose I might as well just ask you. It sounds like pretty much anyone can open an account here if they need to store something. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. It's possible that I'll have an entirely mundane visit here before shit hits the fan.
I trust it would indeed be mundane. Lady Amaranth. Brutus leans down. Yes, I know, Brutus. Don't fret. So, well, it was lovely to speak with you all. I apologize for the lack of manners we had at our home, but I hope that doesn't, shun you away too much. You're more than welcome to stop.
I hope we get to have an actual, share a meal together at some point that's not immediately, a whole thing.
Also, strictly speaking, as far as group meals go, that's far from the worst it's ever gone for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
I pity you.
We've had a strangely great number of dinners or other things that were just loaded with tense subtext.
Well, let's avoid that. Next time, if you wanted to pop on over, I'll solidify a time that Oleander is not present so that we can have a real conversation, because I do find you folks to be quite pleasant.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
She, has a small laugh. Right. Well, I'm actually going to stay here for the time being. Need to double check my security measures, and we've gotten some new information. Brutus hands her the papers that was all of you guys going through the magical study. I need to see what all you're carrying. So
I
that
thought
I
she
can...
said she wouldn't study that.
No, I think it was the privacy it's only for House Hairsif.
I remember when she walked in through there, she said something to the effect of, "Don't worry, I won't look too much into that."
Yeah, probably. I won't look into your family, not your gear.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's more what she meant, is like...
Okay.
Soon as
talking
she
about-
starts looking at that, Dia's gonna grab the piece of paper out of her pack and look at it herself. It's hard for me to ask in the moment out loud, but is there anything here which would immediately alarm me if I saw that it was potentially known to other people?
Let's see here. So flipping through, it does list the magical items that you have. You do notice that some magical items, it doesn't go into, it doesn't like fully explain what they are. A lot of times it is just like a very quick, like, Cloak of Resistance provides protection, something like that.
Yeah.
But for a more potent magical item or something that's very unique, it looks like it just does its best to describe what it could do. It looks like this doesn't like identify it perfectly. It just allows for like anyone that walks over, bam, quick study.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Stick
don't
of
assume
2d6
they can
negative energy.
directly. Yeah, I don't assume they can directly identify something like Scream Eater. That's like a weird,
Big sword, evil.
one of a kind.
parentheses.
It's not the magic items that concern me in the slightest. Specifically, did it detect Addis as a separate entity from me? Is the
Or
big
your
one.
werewolfness.
Yeah, I guess there's that, and then also, from what we've discussed in the past, Will, is there anything related to family or personal bio that I'd be like, I don't want anyone to see that?
Let's see here. So for Addis, it looks like for one of the magical item listings, it suggests like armor ? And then like it skitzes out a little bit, like it doesn't know how to identify Addis.
Okay.
It has no idea. It doesn't specify that it is a sentient creature though. As for family, it does show some names that you would be familiar with.
Okay. Okay. Dia's gonna play it cool for now.
Oh, if you don't mind, can I see what it said about me?
Oh, I mean, it is yours. Brutus leans down. This one, ma'am. Thank you so much. And she hands you the piece of paper. It goes through, showing all of the various bits and bobs. And most interestingly, it shows the name Victoria Rivaldi as next kin.
Yeah, it just got it.
Good to have my hands on that.
Well, oh, I'm sorry. I guess I should have asked. Would you each like a copy as well?
I'm fine, thanks.
And again, I should make this abundantly clear. Any personal details or things of the sort we do not share with the public, and I'm also happy to expunge them if necessary. Obviously, magical items, gestures, will remain, but I do understand if there's more privacy requested. So, and she hands out the pieces of paper once again.
Redpath fully expecting to find nothing on his list, because what the fuck would his family ever have to come here? Yeah, let's just fucking country bumpkins show up and look. We're here to store 1 gold, please.
Yeah. So for you, Red Path, it like gets to the like next of kin, and unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't have any specifics, just because it doesn't look like that identity has been registered with the Hersif family in any capacity.
Yeah, they need to register here to be in their database.
And for you, Nash,
I didn't expect shit or fuck.
oh no,
It's
it says
kinda funny to read this.
it says
probably.
Conrad Rivaldi. No,
Oh my god!
We're brothers.
We're best friends. The part human and dog. Adventure time, brothers.
no, that doesn't happen. So yeah, you're a similar thing. There's no name registered there.
Yeah, next to kin.
And Amaranth Hersif has a very polite salute, and you notice that every single fire giant in Garden here also salutes the moment she does. Thank you again for coming on by. I am very excited to see what you do next.
Oh, so are we.
And
All right then, time to feel that sea breeze.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
gonna
already
be-
feeling much nicer up here.
That's gonna be pretty welcome. Yeah, just a quick curiosity about this paper. So like it has like our name on it as well. You know, like name, connections, swag.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yep. It basically it just shows your name, and it'll tell you like the various magical items. Of course, again, if it's like really powerful magical items, it just kind of gives like its guesstimation. Sometimes not 100% even. You do notice, Maze, your arm does not come up in any capacity.
Super. Love to hear that. There is a different curiosity, though.
Yeah.
Considering how that Maze is not, technically speaking, the name he was given by his parents, he's wondering if
Yeah.
that's what's written on here.
Interesting. So one thing that Amaranth is probably going to notice is, yeah, I guess because, oh, weird. Your name might be question marks, actually.
Perfect.
because when you were born was like well before any documentation for the Horde of House Hersif. Because we know some details, you were off the grid
Yep.
for a long period of time. So obviously, like Amaranth, when she starts going through the details, is going to get to yours and be like, mystery person, Rivaldi? And like, she's...
Scandal!
Yeah, no, the scandal that propped... But like, the crazy thing for her, though, is like, the fact that it's related to the mother. You can't just hide a baby when
Yeah.
you're the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's cracked
She's
some
like,
insane...
she's here. She's here like, I've known this woman for 25 years. What?
She,
Like, honestly,
She looks at this and goes, oh my god, I've cracked an insane conspiracy, which she has, and it's not the one she thinks it is.
no, yeah. Yeah, no. So, like, don't be surprised if, like, late this evening, these three are sitting around looking at your documents going, what the fresh fuck is this group? What?
There's question marks everywhere.
As everyone's leaving, Dia's gonna like kind of drift to the back just a little bit, and discreetly cast message so that looking away from Amaranth, she can whisper to her, with hopefully no one else being the wiser. Keep whatever information you think is relevant for security, but please destroy anything else on mine, if you could.
You hear a message back. Done and done, miss.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's not long until, like, Brutus, like, you could out loud hear Brutus like, what in the hell? Looking at the documents. Yeah, because each one of you is weird for different reasons.
Well, that was exciting. Somehow I thought the tour of the bank would be the fun part, but as it turns out, this slip of paper is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to the doctor and then they hand you the paper at the end that says, "Ooh, you have a mystery disease."
I can't relate to that experience.
I don't want mystery disease. He starts trying to read the thing.
Sometimes you don't even know you have mystery disease, and that's why it's a mystery.
It's like a joke that Kinsley said once. A doctor walks up to you and says, "Good news, we're naming the disease after you."
Oh, that's horrible.
Yes, it is.
I just realized I wasn't paying enough attention. Did Rosa just wait in the lobby during all of that?
Yep.
Okay.
She had no interest in just wandering around with you. She was mostly keeping Embernice company.
Maze looks to Rosa. Do you have any thoughts on this? Just any of it?
Your pieces of paper, or...
I mean, what we're doing, the pieces of paper, what we're doing relative to the piece of paper, anything, really.
Well, I find it rather odd that this is even happening, but I have no power, and I'm sure Amaranth is doing this mostly to prevent any political kerfuffles, so... I will... Let's walk a little further, shall we?
Oh, boy.
How you doing, boys?
These two are just shitty
They're
chatting.
arm wrestling.
They're not like full on arm wrestling, but like
They're gonna get there. The
Pride-
tension
Pride-
is thick.
Pride is like leaning against the railing. I'm telling you, girls' night is fascinating. It's completely different energy than you would expect. And Artigan's just like leaning on the wheel with like a small bottle. Looks like it's not full on alcohol. It looks like it's more like a very nice fruity drink you could bring along. It's something you see pretty commonly in Leviara. No shit, huh? How does one get invited? I was very lucky. So, there were these lovely... how was your expedition?
Got heat blasted, got put inside a cage.
It was very interesting, though.
Wow, did you guys already try to rob him?
No.
Just testing the waters.
Oh, I see it went well then. Well, yeah. So, everybody...
Oh, by the way, girls' night very exclusive.
Pride gestures, see? Get some different music playing. You guys get on your little boat and you start making your way. For the sake of ease, I will just... we'll stay on this map for now. You guys start sailing off, and Rosa is kind of resting against the pillar, or the mast of the ship. So, you know me. I'm really bad about taking sides and whatnot.
I actually don't know you.
Right. Have we met?
Probably not. The name's Maze. It's a pleasure.
Hi, Maze. Wow, that's refreshing. A pleasure. All the same, she shakes your hand. But normally I try to avoid getting directly involved. But you guys, I feel like I do owe you in some capacity. Because of our past. She looks over her shoulder at Pride and Artigan, who are still just chatting away. And maybe even Redpath is involved with this conversation at this point.
Yeah, he's probably joined in.
Oh yeah, no, it's very like dude bro energy, but like...
Dudes being bros.
Dudes being bros. It's a good energy up there. And Rosa looks back. I'll say this much. I can't directly get involved with this because I don't have much authority with the Horde of House Hersif. I've been with the Keepers for so long that, one, any security measure changes that have taken place, I don't know what they are specifically. And more importantly, because I have the Keeper Association, it's just to avoid any political problems.
I figured.
That being said, she holds up a finger. In our home, next to the library, is Amaranth's personal enchantment study. If you're looking for any more specific details about more recent enchantments, or maybe even things to help you get through, might not be a bad place to check.
For us to check, or you? I don't think we're gonna have much luck going back into your house right now with your dad stomping around.
Rosa just kind of shrugs. Right, but Oleander isn't always present. He has many business meetings to attend to. Not to mention, you could always set up meetings with him and other nobles. Then it would be a guaranteed time that he's not present.
Ah, you're right. You do like to stay out of things. You could just do this for us, but you won't.
She puts her hands on her hips. I can't. I know Amaranth has changed up the security measures. And not to mention, if I were to do it, she'd probably figure out pretty quickly that I have been helping you, and that could lead to even worse things.
I suppose that makes sense.
Are you guys all right by each other? Your sister seems like a really cool person. I mean, at least in contrast to your dad. But I mean, it never came up before. It's not like we had a lot of conversations. I don't know. I got the sense when we talked on the beach that there's some kind of distance between you, but it's not obvious to me why that would be.
She kind of has like a sad smile. Amaranth and I were very, very close for a very long time. We supported each other through thick and thin. As she was getting more comfortable with her spells and things of the sort, I was kind of a guide for her, and she was honestly a guide for me. She was a much-needed backbone, I guess. And, after the fire, she gestures to the left side of her body. She was there for me when I was mostly talked down to for not living up to the Hersif standard. But when I joined the Keepers, obviously there was a little bit of friction there. And we're still very close. It's just that there is still that troubled waters. But I know Amaranth has no ill will towards me, and I have none towards her. It's the reason that I really don't want to damage our relationship more than I need to.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Was that she kind of vaguely gestures in the direction of the burn area. Was that your own doing?
No. We had a situation where our elder brother, Gladiolus, was practicing his fire magic, and it got out of control. The Hersif estate that you visited is not our first home. First one burned down. We were actually on the mainland before. And everyone else was able to get out quite easily. Me having no fire magic whatsoever, I can only use ice, I couldn't get out in time. Luckily, this woman came running in full plate armor, and she pulled me out. She knew that I was scared, so she gave me her helmet, and unfortunately there was a burst on the way out. She did her best to cover me, but wasn't so successful. But thanks to the helmet, she gestures, my face was left intact. She, however, got a nasty burn on the left side of her face. She's actually a big reason She's actually a big reason that I joined the Keepers. I wanted to do some good, but, well, a lot of good that did me.
Oh.
I'm just stuck on it. Your brother burned down your house, but somehow you're the asshole?
Because I didn't use fire magic to get out. Would have been easy.
That's literally insane, though.
Oh, are you understanding my mental state now? Do you understand things about me? No, there's a reason that I don't try to impress. like my father.
No, I can
Nearly as much
understand
so.
that. It must seem pretty fucking useless.
It's pointless. It's entirely pointless. But Amaranth, she's been proud of me for all the things that I have been able to do. And she supported all of my choices, even with the Keepers. I definitely think she believed there was a different path to take, but she wasn't going to stop me.
And what of your mother? Did she just let her husband treat her child like shit? Or was she also part of it?
Well, she's gone too now. She got caught in the fire too.
And you're the asshole.
She shrugs. Listen, it's a fucking mess. What do you want from me?
Is that also when you lost your brother?
No. He died only 3 years ago. He apologized up and down for it, obviously. He was hungry for power, as it were. And he never let that happen again. In fact, he kind of strayed away from fire magic after that. He still did it, but he focused more on the martial skills of it. He was actually a very powerful magus. Being a magus requires more discipline with your spells. It's more focused, the direct point.
Not to mention, you're also throwing spells within grabbing distance of the guys who want to kill you.
Yep.
Do you stay in contact with the woman who saved you?
I don't know where she is. She left pretty quick. I get the feeling she might have been an individual who didn't want to be in the public view very often.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate to that, at least.
Yeah. All that I do remember is that she was an ASMR of some sort. She had a little bit of feathery tufts and piercing blue eyes, but that was really all I could catch.
That's the nail in the coffin, Wow. The irony. Wow.
Oh, the ironing.
Oh, the ironing here.
Oh, the irony.
Yeah. But
everyone is dying in my family.
Now, the other bit of information that could be useful to you, Briony, who is the one that created the Horde of House Hersif years upon years ago, is also a massive member, or was a massive member, of the Academy. And their creation of the Horde of House Hersif is, let's be real, it's a marvel. It's incredible the thing even exists. It's a magical spectacle, as Headmaster Doopsy would likely phrase it. If you wanted to learn more about the actual Horde of House Hersif, the part where you'd probably be going to, it's probably there.
Good to know.
That is useful to know.
Mm-hmm.
I think when Rosa was like, was actually a massive member of, Dia was winding up to like simultaneously complete the sentence with the Pie Association, the Academy.
Right. Right, there's people who do normal things.
Well, what are you gonna do? I mean, I guess, came to relax on the beach. You can just go back to relaxing on the beach.
Oh boy. Well, I'll likely do a bit more relaxing, to be honest. But if by chance you do need a little assistance with something, I'll see what I can do.
Oh, I think it's fair to tell you, and if you want to act on this information at all, you can, and if you don't, you don't have to. Garen and Andrin are around. They're just taking it easy. we put Garen through a bit of hell recently helping us, and so we're trying to avoid doing that again, but...
Nice
I
to
don't
know it's not
know.
just me.
Yeah.
Because you've been so much help, Rose.
You're not
I don't-
special. Get in line.
I don't know how long they're gonna be here, or where they're planning to go, or when, but it's entirely possible that very soon we'll see them for the last time, or maybe we even already have, so if you have anything you want to say to either of them, this might be your only chance.
That's good to know. I think I'm going to let them have their space for now. I think they would appreciate their own company for now, instead of me walking up and being like, hey, bye.
It's a
So.
very astute observation.
That would be a pretty strange interaction, yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to let that one simmer. But I appreciate the heads up. Right. Well, luckily we're almost at shore. I guess I'll...
Oh, really? I thought we hadn't cast off yet.
How dare you? So, bring you guys over to this map. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys were at the docks for a bit there. Boop. But it sounds like you're going back to the Siren Song. Unless there was anything else you wanted to do this evening.
Well, I think there's already a good number of spells I think I might like to have in my arsenal for even just this specific scenario we're looking at right now that I don't, and so I think it's pretty likely that Dia will be pulling an all-nighter at the academy looking into various things and learning spells.
Okay, so you are boogieing back to the academy.
I think Dia's going to, yes.
Okay, so I will just like wop 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 put you over there. You three, where would you want to be? Do you want to just go back to the hotel, or is there somewhere else you wanted to adventure off to?
I think I might want to catch a quick word with Matthias.
All
Red
right.
Path does have to talk to them later, so if we want to fuck around somewhere like outside and then go and bother them, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty.
I mean, I could go with Dia so we can half-seize it and something funny will happen again. Because it always does when we
It's
half-seize
the
it.
split. This is the split.
This is
This
the
is
split.
the funny split.
Classic.
All right. So here, let's go to Leviara Street 2.
2.
Yo, Leviara Street 2!
Ooh.
There's all this crazy shit. I gotta delete all this. None of this
don't
shit's
worry.
happening
We'll just.
anymore.
We'll
I'll get
just-
rid of the blood. Don't panic.
Oh my god.
I'm panicking.
I'm panicking.
So I'm gonna put you guys here, and then I'll go grab one Matthias Ledoux. Oh, actually, I think very, very fitting would actually be, as you guys are walking, you find Matthias chatting with the ice cream salesman. Looks like they're getting another snack.
Oh no. Is this like
They love the ice cream!
is
You
is
can't,
ice cream a thing for them, I wonder?
you can't just eat ice cream. You have to eat other things.
Well, with them
And we have it on decent authority that they probably don't even enjoy this very much.
You know what? Oh my god. You've just given me an excellent idea. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh God.
Wonderful. Okay. I might as well shop while I'm here.
Out of
Yeah.
curiosity, Red Path, have you made an arrangement with Matthias yet about, that thing?
There are many things. Please specify.
The thing about the person in the usual spot? The thing?
Yes. Yes, I was waiting until we weren't, being accosted by nobles, but, yes, currently the thing, generally will be safe for, probably another, 14 hours, maybe, and then it's up to me to convince them that the thing deserves to stay.
That's a pretty temporary solution.
Yes. If you want to go and find a different solution, by all means, that would be very good.
I might have one in mind.
Because it's getting... It's a little annoying to keep on having to come up with excuses or reasons.
Yeah, I'll see if my incidental expertise helps me here.
Okay. Picks up some grocery, pay the nice person.
Oh, thank you very much. And they exchange the stuff. Yeah. Is there anything else in particular you're planning on doing?
Yes, accosting the Ledoux.
The Ledoux. Yeah.
The only one that we have met.
The only one that we know.
Matthias, you're
The
so-and-so.
only one.
Yeah, you pop on over and you see Matthias. No, you don't understand. I know it's supposed to be a Sunday, but I want all of the raspberries, all of the blueberries, and I want the bananas, all of them. Put all of them there.
Yes,
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, this is suffering.
No, it's a delicacy. Thank you very much. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. And they are handed a very big bowl of just basically cold fruit.
You enjoying your fruit salad there?
Yes, absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
This
You see,
isn't really up to your usual standard, though, is it?
oh, what gave it away? And over his shoulder, it's like, what the hell? But it is still quite good. What can I do for you two?
I have a quick proposition for you, and I'm gonna need a
Ooh.
slightly goofier track for this.
Oh, something a little on the goofier side.
Yo, we love Goofy at Ebon Ward.
Not that goofy.
Oh, not that goofy. Sorry.
Matthias smacks Chadork from thousands of feet away. Next track, Chadork!
You damned fool. Maybe.
Yeah, sure. I have heard that you've been having a small problem. Here, walk with me, talk with me.
Oh, very well. So,
I
What
heard
are
that
we
your
thinking?
most recent production of The Stairs Are Too Tall went miserably.
stairs are too high, but that tells you right
Oh.
there alone that it's a terrible play if you don't recall the name.
Yes. It seems that you've blundered into one of the classic bad plays. Fortunately, I know an awful lot about this subject, as I was quite literally raised in a playhouse.
Really?
It's true.
Indeed. I have a lot of
Wow.
expertise about this particular subject, and have a lot of thoughts, feelings, and opinions about it.
You were born for the arts. How fascinating.
I
Well,
was
go
born-
on.
I was born for many arts. Now,
Ooh.
I feel that there is a certain problem that you and I are both having. You are suffering with your play business, and a friend of ours is suffering very dearly.
Oh dear. That sounds more like therapy is required.
No,
Am I crazy?
Matthias, our friend, the one who you are assisting for the moment.
Right! Right! Yes, them! Oh, spy stuff is so hard. Yes, what about them?
Well, I would very much enjoy them to have continued safety, and you would love to have a play that doesn't bomb the moment it drops.
Oh, they don't all bomb. It's just that this one's a bit of a stinky.
A legendary stinky. You know, the theater-going audience is extraordinarily fickle. They go and see one bomb, and they're gonna think, well, the last one was a bomb, this one's gonna be a bomb. Don't you know anything about this?
I'm well aware, but we more or less have a monopoly on entertainment. But I see what you mean, and I don't want to disappoint twice in a row. I don't want to disappoint once at all.
Certainly not. And having a monopoly is more of a reason to do a good job. You don't want to be the one who produced nothing but schlock garbage, do you?
Let's be nice here. I do a lot of good things, all right?
Sure, but let's be honest here. A bad performance is forever.
Why are you yelling this? These people are like, yeah, that last one was bad. Stop it, you're getting them to think.
Gosh,
Exactly.
It's fine. Let him emote. This is the most emotion he's had in a while.
Theater lives on in the hearts of the people long after they leave the playhouse. You should really understand this.
I do. Why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at terrible plays.
Listen, you are giving so much heat right now. I am so afraid for my ice cream. Calm down.
I'm
Here,
sorry.
lean into me.
I'm just
Oh.
extraordinarily
Thank you.
passionate about this subject, and I
No,
feel
go on. I hadn't noticed.
And I feel as though my passion, although is clearly being used very well for ranting, may be better used in a productive sense.
Oh, I see. All right. Well, now that we've gotten that point across, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking. Maze stops and goes like full Shikamaru thinking pose for a second.
Oh.
I'm thinking big, Matthias.
Oh, dear. They take another big spoonful of their ice cream. How big?
Not so big that it'll break the bank, but shake the bank just a little.
Ooh, how frightening for my pockets. So, how much is this going to cost me? And you haven't even told me what this is.
Well, in fairness, you haven't told me what your current project is, but I think that it could use the Myers touch.
Ooh, well, right now we are wrapping up.
Disease.
It does a little bit. It'll need a
We'll
little
name it
rebranding.
after you! Oh my gosh.
You're right, that joke's not funny at all.
No.
So, what I think then, first and foremost, the play that we have been handling for auditions as of recently.
The waterfall one.
Yes, Beyond the Waterfall. It's a romantic comedy.
A romantic comedy, now that is a daring prospect.
Why? What? Why?
Because previously you said that this was new territory, and I'm looping back to that.
All right, fine. Let's hear it. Listen, we've gone around the block, and I know jack crap about what you're up to.
Look, it's
Oh!
extraordinarily simple.
All right, let's hear it.
I am a man of infinite passion for the theatrical arts, and I think that I can elevate your next performance to the highest stars of the sky, and all you need to do is keep our friends safe.
Okay. We finally got there, and I feel like I should have picked it up a few sentences ago. I see now. All right. So, first, takes another big spoonful of their ice cream. Lovely. Second, that seems reasonable, but, like, you still have nothing to trade me. You just keep on saying, I have so much passion, like, my gosh, my guy.
Maze, are you offering your writing services, your directing services, your costume making services? How are you going to help this yourself? You've got the drive and the passion, but do you have the actual tools?
You're damn right I have the actual tools.
What are
All
the
right.
tools, Maze?
Yeah. What are the tools, Maze?
Well, I'm a multi-threat here. I could direct, but I feel as though that is the position that you are most likely to take. But I feel as though I could excel as a ghostwriter to punch up anything that's lacking in your script.
Interesting. You find yourself to be a comedic genius, a master of the heart for the romance, because I'm still leaning towards this Beyond the Waterfall. It is actually quite charming.
My heart has been lit ablaze by romance many a time, and comedy is written across my very soul. It's one of the few things I know.
I see.
Red Path gives him a look of like, you fucking liar.
Strictly speaking, he's not lying. Just give me a shot. Let me prove myself and my services to you.
They tap their chin with the spoon a couple of times, thinking, "Oh boy, give me a diplomacy, a perform, or whatever you think."
Wow them.
Red Path will lean over and whisper in Matthias's ear,
I do still plan to cook for you. Don't worry about that. I don't know why he's doing this.
Right, no, but I see what he's going for. Like, now I do.
Now I Ledoux.
Now I do.
Hold on,
You could even do intimidate because, like, Matthias is, like, intimidated at this point with all the shouting and close
I would
proximity.
never do that. Instead, I shall dazzle Matthias with my linguistic prowess, a skill that I have many ranks in. It just never comes up.
Whoa.
Yeah, all right.
Fuck!
I want to leave.
True tragedy for me.
For the campaign.
So here's what we'll do. Matthias, like, gets a weirdly stern face, finishes their bowl of ice cream, hands it to Redpath for just a moment. Their hand dives into their jacket and they pull out a script and boom, press it in your chest. If you can get me something that is just mind-blowingly incredible by the morning, with this as a basis, because I know it'd be ridiculous to request for you to write a whole script in less than 24 hours, then yeah, let's get talking. Because I need to see what you're talking about. You keep going on about how amazing you are. It's like you're saying this dog can sing, but then I hear it, it's just a dog.
You're bringing up the fucking singing dog.
Well, I'll show you, Matthias. I'll show you this dog can sing. It'll sing a whole goddamn opera!
The New Guinea singing maze.
It's really black and white with him. Like, he's the quietest, mumbliest little bastard I've ever heard, but then, like, the second something goes wrong for, like, his personality or towards him, I don't know. The second he has a slight against him, it's all yelling.
I noticed that. It's very strange, because, like...
It's really strange.
I remember him being so quiet. Like, honestly, I'm a little flustered. That was a lot.
What do you mean flustered? Like what? Like how?
I'm a little turned on, and I don't like it at all.
Oh, maybe that's the wrong word. I guess, what am I looking for?
Scared.
I am hot
Yes!
and bothered.
Yeah, that's the normal way to phrase it.
Frustrated?
No.
Bothered? Concerned? Boy, I guess I misunderstood what the word flustered means. They, like, tapped their chin a couple times.
You might have caused problems.
Oh, no, not me. But listen, Well, I'm curious to see what he comes up with. I don't want to doubt his skill. I need to see it. Do you have any idea how many people come marching up to me, Matthias Ledoux, master of entertainment for Leviara? They're like, I've got an idea for you, and it's just like nothing.
Dog shit. Yeah.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
You know?
I can guarantee you, it'll be funny, but in one of two ways. It'll be like actually very funny and like in an unexpected way, or it'll be very dry and sad funny, like embarrassing funny, which is not really what you want, but if that's something new.
It is new, but like, I don't know. So like, there's been this new thing. I can't believe it's become popular with some of the other theaters. It's like cringe comedy, I think. I hate it. I just scrunch up into a ball in my chair.
Oh yeah,
I don't
you
like
shrivel up in your seat, exactly.
Oh,
Awful.
dreadful.
Careful, we've
Awful.
stopped role-playing.
But yes, in any case, I just need some proof. So, right.
You ever see that old show, The Keep? Where they shot it like a mock documentary, but every time Payne was on screen, I was just cringing in my chair. It wasn't funny, it was just horrible.
Oh my
She's
god,
just-
can you fucking imagine the Keep arc but shot like the goddamn Office? Where it would cut to Payne every few scenes and she would just say like, I hate these people.
Everyone getting their turn to gym at the camera, depending on what else is going on.
I love the idea that like Dia and Nash get thrown into the like alternate universe, and like as the stinger, it quick cuts to Loyal in the chair just going, they have no idea I'm the bad guy.
They'll never see it.
Really funny.
But yes, okay, that's been handled. All right, you know what? Weirdly, I'm hungry.
Yeah, it's dinner time. Come on, let's go. Leave him there in the street.
Thank you. He'll figure it out.
He will.
Goodness.
Leave him
gracious.
there in the street. What is Maze
He knows
doing
where
in
to
the
go.
street?
He's got his own hotel room.
Maze
No,
was-
but
Yeah,
it's
like-
just funny that he's been left there in the street. I'm
I
not
like to
saying
imagine he's
not
literally like
qualified.
squatting in the street with a little notepad, like.
Well, the funny thing is that like these two guys walk up to Maze like, "Hey, this is a crime scene, man. Like you can't be."
oh,
Wandered into the crime scene.
oh crap! That's where I walked. Oh, glad to see you two are working together.
Yeah. They like look at each other.
Awesome!
start
I
making
fixed
out.
that.
Both of them were like, we have an obligation to get this guy off the crime scene. Did not notice they were walking at the same time to do that.
Hold on, I'm trying to shove a burger down my throat.
Oh,
That's
don't
all. I
worry.
think this scene's over.
Yeah, I think we're more or less good there. So here, let me go over here then. Do. Alrighty, and I'll ping you guys. Switch the music. Nash and Dia. It is no surprise that Penne Doopsy happily invites you in to the library. He's actually on his way out. He's going home for the evening. He is tired
Oh,
and wants to
Oh,
go to
good
bed.
Not a-
night, Headmaster Doopsy.
not a night owl. I don't say to him aloud, but
That's
I
racist.
Yeah, you fucking bitch.
It's racist, also accurate. Goodbye.
No, it looks like he seems the sort that would normally stay up late at night, but it has been a busy day here at the academy, and he would like to just take a load off and maybe enjoy some mice and go to bed. So, but the library is open to individuals such as yourself, and when you do go into like the study hall, you do see that there was someone else there who has fallen asleep with their face in a book, drooling in it.
Oh, I used to do that all the time. I still do that. What am I saying?
She gets around a lot of places in one day.
She's been hoofing it like we have.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There's probably a reason why she's basically unconscious by like, well, we're getting at like 7 or 8 o'clock
Yeah.
at night at this point.
Too soon.
Dia will just take a look and see what she was reading.
Looking at these books, they are all studies of restoration, healing, as well as like conjuration.
How is is it a comfortable temperature in here? Is it
Yeah.
okay? If it was chilly, Dia was gonna maybe do the little like, oh, I give you my coat as blanket while you slumber, but there's not really any need for that.
No, it's completely temperate in here.
if she's snoozing in a position where it looks like she's gonna wake up with like a horrible neck cramp, Dia will see if she can maneuver her into a slightly more comfortable position for sleeping, but she's not gonna wake her up.
Yeah, all right. You just give her a nice little coat and just like, ha. Just, like, very unflattering. Her hair is a fucking mess right now, and like
Roll after
you
my
can
own
see
heart.
that this drool is like soaking through the pages at this point.
See if she
Maybe
can
save book.
Yeah, she'll see if she can slide the book a little off the mouth trail.
Yeah. You grab the book and kind of slide it out from under her, and there's
She
like a
sits
very
rock.
there's like a very sort of like boom, as her head like hits
Yeah.
the table, and there's no reaction.
Yeah,
Oh.
that kind of nap.
Yeah,
What a-
seeing them next to each other, it really feels like they're similar.
What a busy little bee.
I say, what a bitch.
Hi. Look at this dumb bitch studying. All right, Dia's gonna check around. Well, first things first. We technically came here with a specific objective, so the first thing Dia wants to look for is the writings of or writings on Brienne Hersif.
Oh, Brienne, yeah.
All right. So this would be either history or nobility.
Get rolling.
Either
Mike.
one will give similar results, but with a +4.
Yes, indeed.
As you
All
are
right, they
here,
are
Margaret.
the same for me. I guess I'll roll history because I'm less interested in the family and more interested in what did you put in your vault, my dear? This is that's before the +4.
Alright, you
also.
got it.
35. All right, so there are still some things I can't elaborate on because
Yeah.
it's like very specifically the vault itself, which has evolved over the years. That being said, fuck, I gotta go find my. I didn't think we'd get that high of a roll. Let me find my Brienne notes. So Brienne Hersif is actually the grandfather of Oleander, so not that far removed. But Brienne's big deal was they were considered the strongest wizard that has ever been in the Hersif family, even higher than Oleander currently. I need different music. Where's my Leviar? There it is. So, that might be a little dramatic. We'll roll with it for now. Brienne Hersif is the grandfather of Oleander Hersif and is like big deal. Their focus was very specifically on the conjuration magic, as well, of course, as pyromancy. Their big thing that they did was what most books will say is the idea of, can I just open the biggest portal to the plane of fire? It's not hell. That should be okay. And they did it. The portal itself was like half a mile wide. And things got through. Luckily, Brienne was an incredibly powerful spellcaster to the point where they were even able to transform themselves into a red dragon to fight off this horde of shit that came through. But one of the things that resulted in it is it actually caused a bit of terraforming. The island itself is an island that you would find from the plane of fire that was pulled through.
Wow, okay.
So, with a 35, the thing that catches your attention is that one of the things that Brienne pulled through and apparently did not kill was a chain of fire. A chain of fire is essentially like a grotesquely huge worm that is made of stone and magma and fire. And it is known for its ability to, when it consumes something, to move it to its domain. So, like, what this creature would be used for is by fire giants and things of the sort that had, like, control over a chain of fire, which is hard to do. They would use it to do, like, insane mining, because it
Like
would go through excavation. And as it went through and consumed everything, it's capable of burning away everything but materials that it wants to send back to whatever its layer is. Which means if you're
So
looking
it could
for...
just like eat a fucking mountain and shit out only the diamonds.
Yes. So
Nice.
obviously training one to do that is exceedingly hard. But this thing was... there's a very real possibility that the Chain of Fire is something that Brienne was able to control in some capacity.
Is there any suggestion of so did they use it to further terraform the island when constructing the horde?
Yeah, again, God, you rolled a fucking natural 2035. So the thing that catches your attention is that, like, when looking through all of the details about this Chain of Fire, there is discussion of like an interview with Brienne, actually discussing like, well, I mean, considering the strength and the capability of a Chain of Fire, it would be ridiculous to just kill the creature. If anything, it should be studied further, and perhaps its unique capabilities could be quite useful. They go further on to discuss, while it will take a long period of time to fully grasp what the creature is capable of, and most importantly, garnering its trust to allow us this capability, perhaps there is a means through less than diplomatic means or agreement to get what we want.
Does it, does the context make clear whether they ended up going, like, taming it and befriending it route, or just, like, enslaving it route?
Based on that descriptor, it sounds like this Briony fellow might have found a means to just force its control in some capacity. Or maybe not even like full-on enslavement, but more like a, hey man, listen here. You really want to go back to the plane of fire?
Here's the deal, dude.
Here's the deal, you
Fire
literal
sucks. There's only
titan.
fire
And is there anything to suggest, is there anything to suggest that the chain of fire perished at any point between then and now, or as far as anyone knows, it's still alive somewhere in the vicinity of the Horde?
They're based on what you can find, it's safe to say that the chain of fire is very much alive.
Ah,
Cool. Looking forward to that one.
That's really scary.
that will be our problem, I'm sure.
And is there sorry, what was that other question? Oh yeah, did Briony end up closing the giant portal after
Yes.
stuff got through? Okay.
Yeah, no, they immediately, or as quickly as they could, shut down the portal, because they were like, haha, that experiment went a little wild, and as like an apology to Leviara, despite the fact there were no casualties, there were no injuries or anything of the sort, Briony made massive donations to the Academy, as well as just the economy in general to Leviara, and they started the process of opening up the Horde of House Hersith, and again with a 35, there's a very real chance that part of the reason why people were okay with this is because some of the bigger noble families got maybe some other under the table agreements with Briony. Those aren't really specified, they're more like rumors, but that's even something that you had to go digging for to find anyone that would even mention that kind of bullshit. It's not surprising to hear that noble families would do some under the table stuff, but the fact that it was for this specific event is what's curious.
Okay, interesting. And is there any other information about specific defenses or layout or anything of the Horde?
So the things that are like known to the general public for security measures, a lot of it you've already seen, and like even one detail is like, oh yeah, you could probably teleport in there right now, and it's like, haha, no, this book's old. And one of the security measures that it draws your attention to is weirdly the butterflies.
Oh.
So you read about the butterflies, and it just goes into detail saying, courtesy of an agreement between not just the Hersith family, but many noble families and the Laree family, it was agreed upon that the Laree family would develop beautiful butterflies with the family colors that are incredibly poisonous to those that are not a part of the family.
Poisonous or venomous or both? Like, is
Bit of
it
both.
Okay.
And-
Mostly just, do you have to eat them, or just is it like,
Right,
oh,
I
it
should-
lands on you and you're like, huh?
Yeah, I should have clarified. It's more venomous. I forget that they're
They are different things.
Different. They are very much different. With a 35, I can actually
Interesting.
look up some more details.
We
yeah,
love Nat 2035s. Let's go.
Really simplifies things.
yeah. So, looking it up, the Laree family is the one that developed these butterflies, and they come in a variety of beautiful colors, and there's even like a little example of them. And these are exactly the same kind of butterflies you've seen surrounding the Delato family house, the Hersith house, and the Horde of House Hersith, as well as a few other different families. The details of the poison are, after some personal study, it looks like this guy is kind of a nut job and trying to learn more. Like, like looking through this is borderline like newspapers of just like gossip of wizards.
I smoked a butterfly, and here's
Yeah.
how high I got.
What the butterflies do, if they make contact with you and you have not received the proper means to handle them, is you are paralyzed for 1 minute, Your body convulses from excruciating pain, and for hours upon hours, you are drained.
He's physically tired.
Just physically tired.
You are paralyzed forever. Does it say what the means of handling them is?
It is direct contact. It is.
Sorry, I meant you said if you come into contact with them without the proper means of handling them, this happens. Does it say what the countermeasure is that apparently exists?
Digging through a little bit more, it looks like the countermeasure is a vaccine that is created by the Lurie family. It is a situation where, let's say you hire someone new to your family to be a protector, for example, the Fire Giants. They would be brought to the Lurie family and given the vaccine for that butterfly specifically. Meaning, even though they have the vaccine for the Hersif family, they would still be affected by Delato butterflies.
Okay. Useful to know. Very useful, actually.
Yup. That's a 35, baby.
I think I'll leave it there for now because I don't want to have the whole game stop for the exposition break, but it's possible I'll later be like, oh, here's an obvious follow-up question, and can I just kind of retroactively be like, yeah, what did it say about that?
Right, yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, I think that's fine. Is there anything else, because it sounds like you're going to be spending a long time here.
Yeah, well, so I think in the course of that, Dia's gonna sit down near, just like next to Purity here, and sit down with Nash, and as she's reading through things, I think she'll probably be like quietly reading them aloud so that Nash is involved and getting the information.
Yeah, I mean, he wants the information, he just can't really do it on his own. So, he's your homeboy.
He's your homeboy for this evening. Excellent. All right.
I'm
a big fan of the sweet nature of reading aloud to Nash and how consistent it is. It's a very nice, cute thing.
Help him.
I think
teach the dog
when after that information is in hand, I think the rest of Dia's time here, she's probably gonna spend working on adding spells, which doesn't have to happen on screen because that's just gonna be a hey, can I learn this spell? But
right.
That'll in universe, I imagine, take a while, and she'll just hang out with Nash, and if Purity wakes up at any point, Dia will happily hang out. Yeah, if I've silenced her forever. If and when Purity wakes up from her nap, Dia would be happy to converse with her, but she's not gonna wake her up since, when Dia sleeps like that, all she wants is to be allowed to sleep.
Yeah, here. Let me roll I guess like a fortitude save.
Constitution?
I guess a constitution. So she is just like a human. Like she's not a fighter or anything, but she's got a little pep in her, so I think she'd have this much. Nah, she's out cold. Yeah, no. She is completely unconscious for the time that you are present in the library.
But we're here until what, like 10 p.m. or something, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're here late.
Yeah, and you're welcome to wake her up.
Missing an obligation.
Yeah.
Pride's at home in his bubble bath. Like, where is my pie? She promised me pie.
Actually, I think Pride is smart enough that I think at a certain point, you can hear some like discussion outside, and then they're like, the doors do burst open as Pride Lionheart comes in, not in his usual uniform. He's not like in a bathrobe or anything, but he's in much more casual attire, and puts his hands on his hips and looks at the unconscious Pure.
Dia mouths hi to him.
No, it's fine if she wakes up. She should be awake.
Oh, she looks so peaceful.
Well, I have not been. The way the city is right now, I didn't know where she was, and I was concerned.
Oh, now that makes sense. Well, now she's been here the whole time we have.
if she was still asleep when we left, wasn't gonna leave her here.
We haven't even seen her at her work yet. She is really burning the candle at three ends. Between this and art and that.
Yeah. No, my little sister works very, very hard. She doesn't really get that much respect, sadly. It's a Lionheart name.
From your... Oh, right.
Yeah. And the family isn't exactly ecstatic about her because, well, he actually, like, picks her up and just, like, princess carries her.
Oh.
Still asleep.
Yeah, no, she's still like, like tongue hanging out. Like, it is not a beautiful picture in any capacity. Because she wanted to dabble in the arts of things instead of military, like myself or any of our other siblings. So, yeah.
She really applies herself.
That she does. It's magic, though. I have yet to figure out why she's so focused on it.
Oh, I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. It's one of those things.
I've been meaning to ask her, but it's one of those things where I feel like it's not my territory.
I can maybe feel like she and we're cool. I can slip it in on the down low.
Pride actually smiles. I'd appreciate that. This is just another thing I can't help her with, so if anyone else can, it'd be appreciated.
Well, she's certainly living in the right city for it.
She is.
Does she come here most days to study?
Every day she can, at least when Amaranth is here to provide a free lesson.
Mm-hmm. Do you know if that will be the case tomorrow? I can come by and see if I can find her.
He nods. Yes. She'll be taking one of the morning classes with the children. He smiles.
Morning, the worst time of day. I'll try it.
It's all the more reason I can't help. So.
Don't worry, dear. I wake you up for morning.
Oh, bless you.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. Just like carries her out and just like.
I think presumably in this time, Dia's probably found the spellbook she needs to consult for the research she's doing. So rather than staying in the library all night, she'll take them back to the hotel. But probably stay up most of the night there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nash is going to stack all of Pure's books in a
yeah?
neat little pile for her at the table. And is going to write the worst note ever. He's going to try and write Pure books, but it's going to look really bad.
I should leave a note.
I should leave. Really, he's going to leave, and then he's like, "But they might sort them. Oh no."
Yeah. Cool beans. You guys do a lovely
You will
job.
add at the bottom, please don't touch XOXO.
Two very different handwritings. So yeah, I guess I'll bring you guys over to the Siren Song Hotel. Don't worry, I will ping, so you're not totally lost. Boop. And then, I don't know when Nash and Dia get here, but...
Books.
I'll get out of the stairwell so the scene can move forward.
Yeah.
Huh? What? Oh, why am I here?
Because...
Books.
Oh, yeah, that's right, you're probably still with Matthias then, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, I will delete you.
Oh, Maze, you look tense. You got a scrunchy face.
I am tense. I've been given an extremely important job.
Ooh.
Oh, what job?
To prove myself in the art of theatrics.
Oh.
These two just hear Maze talking outside their door, and whatever smiles they have just fade.
Yeah. Sorry, that probably sounds ridiculous. Maybe I should elaborate slightly further than that.
Makes perfect sense to me. Are you writing? Are you rehearsing a scene to act?
I'm writing. I took it upon myself to punch up a script for in exchange for some of Matthias's services.
Is it a comedy?
It's a romantic comedy.
Oh, you should be fine then.
Exactly. This is what I was born to write. And admittedly, there is some skin in the game beyond the obvious here.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's sort of a long-standing tradition amongst members of the not our you-know-what, but my you-know-what.
Yeah.
It's a long-standing tradition that once you come to retire, you record your adventures through, a play. And I've never really dabbled in writing one yet.
Those would be some very, I have to imagine, some pretty violent and samey plays, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Variety is the spice of life. Look at my existence. You've been here for most of it. Would you say that it's been murdery and samey?
It has not been samey.
Well, half marks is still pretty good.
I guess that's true. I mean, because you have your thing and our thing, I guess I always assumed we were a bit exceptional in terms of how much random bullshit we get up to. I guess I always just thought other Silver Hand members, we're out there just being like, well, here's job number 87, and then moving on. And that the play would therefore be very repetitive.
The theatrics are a very important part of our organization. Like, without the front of what it is we pretend to be, we wouldn't be able to get away with what we actually are. So whether or not our theatrics are entirely accurate isn't really the point. It just has to be a good read. But I have the bonus of it being able to be a good read and real.
Well, that makes sense.
Sorry, I say good read. That's not really accurate. Plays aren't meant to be read, they're meant to be seen.
I guess.
No, there's no I guess, actually.
Yeah. You can't really say a good C. Yeah, I feel like they could do more to facilitate you then, because if they want you to be able to write a grand sweeping epic about your work with them at the end of it all, then sending you to wait somewhere for a year doing nothing feels counterproductive to that.
Truth be told, I'm not sure they had any expectation for me in this regard.
Well, fuck them.
Sure.
I mean, that was a supportive, like
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I got it.
Okay, good.
Like, I understand where you're coming from here. And yes, upon hindsight, I was treated monumentally poorly, but without the circumstances that led me to be in that exact spot at that exact time, I wouldn't have met any of you guys, so I suppose it was worth something.
I guess so. Well, just knock on my door if you need any funny anecdotes for the romantic comedy, because I am loaded.
I may very well be calling upon your help. This is going to be an all-night mind project.
Oh, I'm gonna be up pretty much all night myself.
Oh, both them read all night.
No, Dia's gonna be reading and I'm going to be writing.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Fez just comes up. Hi, how was your guys'? You all look tired.
Speaking of romantic comedy, how you been?
Oh, I liked the first part of that. I am questioning the second half.
Has it ever not been a fun time when I'm around?
It has been, but I am curious where the comedy specifically comes in.
You can't spell funny without fun. Look, it was a felicitous segue. What do you want from me?
I'm sorry. I'm not very good with humor, so thank you for covering that slack for me.
No problem.
But I hope things have been going well. You see Duchess at the end of the hallway, just like arms crossed, like, go to bed, kids.
Nash will be the only one going to bed tonight.
Yep.
I've got a long night of study ahead of me. You're welcome to join me or to catch up on your beauty sleep. Either is perfectly fine by me.
She thinks about that for a moment, and then she just like lets out this big yawn. I'll help for a little bit, but I've been a little tired today. We've been doing as much research as we can about just all the things that happened today. It was a lot of news going on about the portmaster was attacked and keepers were killed. Like, we don't need to go into it right now because, like, I have a feeling you were involved in some capacity.
Oh, I was. Yeah, I got mind controlled and dropped someone into a pit.
Great. So let's not worry about that immediately.
Yeah, I think that would be nice.
I think so too. She leans around you and waves to Nash and Maze. Good night, boys.
Good night.
Good night.
And a good
Fez
night
goes-
it will be, Nash.
Threateningly.
Dia gives a little wave.
Don't yell while writing.
Oh, I don't plan on yelling while writing, Nash.
It's just like Pinky in the brain over here.
I
Dia
will,
gives a
however,
little
be
wave
calling
to the
upon your
Duchess.
occasional support for things that I feel I'm lacking in. I trust your vision excruciatingly.
Yeah. Duchess does just nod. Unless there's anything else you wanted to say to her, but
No,
No,
we're
not
busy.
unless it looks like she has something to say to us. But it seems like the opposite is true.
yeah, no, she is like curious what you've been doing all day, just because like a lot has happened.
She is also our boss and has reasonable authority to ask.
It's one of those things where like you asked her to travel halfway across the country to be here.
Well, bring it up then.
I feel bad saying this. I literally don't remember why we asked her to do that.
For Andrin?
For
For
Andrin.
the surgery.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
So
yeah,
we can give Andrin a new liver.
That's right. I forgot about that part, and so I was like, why did we assume that Duchess was the linchpin to like solving the plot here? We knew nothing about it. What was the reason? I was like going crazy.
Yep. No,
Truth be
no.
told, I didn't remember either.
Yep. Duchess is like, well, I guess I'll just go to bed all by myself. And she's very pleased about that and just bundles up. Actually, no.
Can we take a quick break?
Yeah, let's take a quick little brack.
The greatest gift we can offer Duchess is not speaking with her.
Leviara backdrop.
I love Savvy in chat. Nash, wake up. Our iambic pentameter is something that would fit an epilogue. Nash.
It's Nash, it's so important. You can't just phone in the iambic pentameter. It's the entire reason why Shakespeare sounds so good.
Go to bed.
No. I'm gonna take
Lamb
this, though.
picture? What? I don't know.
Do. Here, I'll get some different music playing for Oh boy. Yeah, then I think we'll jump over to see what Red Path is up to. And then I think we could probably jump to the morning.
Sounds fine to me, the person that is here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of making some noise for the chat.
Yeah, I'm taking this moment to put some food in my mouth that has been presented to me while also juggling making sure Cooper doesn't jump in said food.
What food you get?
It's like beef and gravy over rice.
Ooh, that is good. I made that more than once. That is a nice meal. Oh man. Dun.
Yeah, and earlier today was like cabbage patties, which is,
Ooh.
you know, a
Very
little
fancy.
weird, but my mom's friend from Nepal was like the other day we made them, and my mom's friend from Nepal was like, "Oh, these are just like how my wife used to make them. Can you please make them again?" And we were like, "Oh, okay. I guess we're doing this now."
Well, that's quite the compliment. That's nice.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh man, oh man.
Oh gosh, OG.
Yeah. I figure what we can also do just to avoid like repetitive like dialogue, because like I would wager in the morning you tell Duchess like what has happened, where it's like met the Rivaldis, the Harrisifs have given us this opportunity to get the compass. Here are
keep
some
her
leads.
in the loop.
Yeah. Because Duchess might have some suggestions as well, if at all that interests you.
We will take any and all suggestions, because what's the worst thing that happens? We have more options.
We didn't bring her here to ignore her.
That would be really unfortunate. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Someone in chat had asked, I wonder if Duchess is going to mention Jasper. I think it's safe to, because, like, again, I don't want to, like, to have characters talking about the same shit over and over again. It is safe to assume that at some point, Duchess was like, holy fuck, here is what we know thanks to Jasper. And so that's all the details, including, like, conquest, and the fact that Barrett is heading to the south to find a cure for the king, and all that crazy shit.
That feels substantial enough where we should probably hear it in character.
Sure. It might be weird that she didn't bring it up in, like, the time that you've already been here.
Just didn't think about it.
Yeah, it
was busy,
just
we
slipped
were
her
busy.
mind. Totally slipped her mind. She's like, I ate an apple.
Yeah, that apple really took it out of her.
Yeah, to be fair.
I ate an apple and cola. Yippee!
Yippee! Dun, 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 dun. Oh boy.
Again, not to be the singular voice on it, and do the rest
No,
of
no, no.
my compatriots feel it is necessary for us to hear about Jasper's things in character.
I see an argument for both sides, cause yes, it does feel like, you know, it's pretty momentous, but also, I mean, we spent a long time showing those events on screen, and so I'm trying to figure out.
So, I mean, what we can always do too is
He's returned.
welcome back. What we can do is I can just have Duchess be like, and that's everything Jasper's learned, and then you can have your response. That way, I'm not feeding you all of the information again. But we can still have the like, hey man, shit was fucked, huh?
Yeah.
Red Path. Now that you're back, was there something that you wanted to do before it was the morning?
I just saw the comment from Skipped in the chat. Coca-Cola and Fortnite Red Path. Well, I believe he was going to cook dinner for Matthias.
Yeah. Let's see here. We can do a little thing for that, nice and quick like.
Yeah, he wanted to have a chat with them.
Yeah, alrighty. So if that is the case, we will go over here into the kitchen.
Oh.
And I think Matthias will just like be in the room watching you out of pure fascination.
They've got a little table set up with a little candle on it, like, yes, cook for me.
Yeah, honestly. And they watch with absolute fascination. So, what are you going to be cooking for me this evening?
Well, I do have a lot of stuff left over from back in town, and I have noticed two things. One, you, yes, had mentioned fruit, and the other thing I noticed just earlier when Maze was commenting on it. You've never had proper ice cream, have you?
Not really. I mean, I did long
Did it
ago.
exist back then?
I mean, kind of, but it was more like just like shaved ice, you know? It
Ah,
wasn't ice cream.
I see. Well, that will be an addendum on the meal that I have planned then.
Oh.
Yes. So, I don't like the idea that breakfast food is only breakfast food. Sometimes breakfast for dinner is the best thing you can have, actually.
I like that way of thinking.
So, I'm going to make you some fancy Red Path waffles.
Ooh. All right.
And in order to use up as much of this fruit as I can before it goes bad, there's going to be a whole bunch of fruit on it.
Ooh, there's no complaints here.
Okay. I can't imagine this would turn out bad at all, even a little bit.
Yeah, if you wanna give me a cooking check.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So, yeah, it's still like a good meal. Like Red Path really can't uber fail.
Yeah, he can't really fuck up.
Yeah. But Red Path, you start putting it all together. You make a nice big old plate of various fruits and whatnot on top of this big old thing of waffles. And when you're done, Matthias immediately takes it, doesn't even find a table or a chair, and just leans up against the support beam and just starts chowing down. Oh, lovely. Thank you so very much.
I was kind of hoping it would turn out better, but
Oh, this is still great.
yeah.
Honestly, this just makes me more excited for the next time you make it.
And yes, I will make it again, and I'll make it better. Don't forget the ice cream. That's the special part. You gotta have that together.
Look at that. Oh, lovely. I feel like you might have something on your mind, though. Yes?
Well, yes, in general. I just wanted to. I had mentioned it earlier, is that we haven't really had the chance to talk, and I think it would be a pretty good idea that if I'm going to be consistently cooking for you, and to an extent working for you long term, kind of shrugs, anytime you're back down in Sweetstone, I should probably get to know my employer.
This is true. Yes. All right. Well, what do you want to know?
I don't really know. I guess that's just up to you. Tell me about Matthias.
Oh, dear. What to tell you about Matthias Ledoux? Well, you notice that they, like, focus for a moment. All right, no one's nearby. Matthias Ledoux wasn't always Matthias Ledoux. This is probably my 10th or 12th identity at this point.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I've changed it up many times over the years, as was necessary. I mean, because of if I was like a half elf or an elf, they like kind of tug at their ears. This should be really easy, but I was human, so I'm a bit more limited in how long a persona can remain, especially considering just how dashingly young and beautiful I am.
Yeah, how young were you at the time?
I was about 26.
Oh, man.
Luckily, I do look a little older than 26, but, well, still very young, so. But not the end of the world. I thought it was for a while, to be sure, because I've always enjoyed food. It was always a big thing. Not even for the same exact reasons. Wasn't always full plates in the house. Not until we started getting more involved in the fishing market of things. It was mostly meant to provide dinner for our family, but we realized, well, it's a lot of money, actually, especially because my mother and father were quite good at it. And so they continued with that, and then I started to learn the trade, and it progressed on from there.
You know how to fish?
I do. I haven't done it in a while, but I'm quite certain I could catch a big one.
It's a very funny mental image.
I bet it
Though I
is.
suppose you didn't exactly have the same bearing back then, yeah?
No. I was quite rough and tumble for quite some time, but I think because I started getting more involved with the noble side of things, I changed. I don't think it's a bad thing. I like who I am now, and I've liked all the different me's I've been. But they just shrug. You know, times change and so do people. Well, sometimes they change.
So, a bit of a bold question then. Did you intentionally seek out how you are now? Is this like, was it an accident?
No. So kind of the dealio there. God, I'm describing one of the most important moments of my life as a dealio. Well, if anything, if you can make a joke about it, clearly you've gotten past it, for the most
It was
part.
a long time ago, too.
Yes. It was a situation of there were still vampires even back then. They weren't as common, but still present. And one happened to find our home, and my parents did a good job fending the nasty little creature off, but I still got nabbed, and I got drained entirely. Totally bled out. I did die. But, they point a finger, I was lucky. There was an individual nearby, I guess a part of their pack, if you will. Vampires sometimes do that. They have their little herds. It's the reason why the Veritas Legion was the way it was. It wasn't just family members. They just took the name of the biggest one. That granted me life. They didn't stick around, unfortunately, so didn't really get a chance to thank them, quotation marks, on that. At the moment, I wouldn't have thanked them. I probably would have punched them in the face, because I was quite the brute, actually, if you can believe that. Oh, I used to have a beard. Oh, I was...
Whoa.
Oh, yes, it was something else. And with time, I came to appreciate it, then condemn it, and thank it, because I realized, I even get to live at all. But then you watch your family age, and then you bury them, and then you can't have a new family, so you have to keep making up one. And it does get lonely. I have, in the past, paid for people to be my family, to maintain a secret and to maintain appearances. But I haven't done that recently because I realized, man, that's pretty disgusting to do, really, when you think about it. I'm taking away someone's limited time on this material plane just so that I can keep on being a fop. Which is why Matthias is the latest of the long-lost children of the Ledoux family.
Did those family members that you bought then, did they at least seem to enjoy their time?
I made sure of it.
Then I personally would say it's only so disgusting.
And obviously, if any of the individuals were tired of participating, I would say they were moving for a business venture, and I'd help them change their identities, and I trust them. And thankfully, nothing's come back from me, so I guess they were good to trust. Thankfully. But I think maybe that's also been my line. It's scary to, every so many years, get new people to fill in roles. New people to call mom and dad. New people to call brother and sister or sibling. And it's... I get attached, weirdly. So, now I just do this! And they just gesture. I make boats! I make big shows! I mean, I've always done big shows, but...
It's a different kind of play this time.
Mm-hmm. The world is my stage, and I'm its greatest actor.
Red Path internally. Wow, modest.
But...
Modesty is for the unsuccessful.
They then get a very, sad smile. But I sometimes wish the curtains would close so I could be with the rest of the crew. A lot of people work very hard to make this stage as stunning as it is, and I can't participate in it very well.
I can imagine that hurts, yeah.
Well, it's not going to kill me.
And I imagine
Well.
you... No. I still want to... There's a lot here. You don't need to...
Oh,
whatever you're about
boy.
to say.
No, you're lucky there's still more waffle.
I can make more. I can keep you here all night if I need to.
Oh, you rascal.
And so I imagine none of those family members happen to be also vampires. Wouldn't that make things a bit easier?
Oh, it would. And I did offer it a couple of times, but I also warn them of all the things that they may not be aware of with vampirism.
No. I mean, I guess that answers my question, though. You weren't really, I guess, lucky enough to stumble upon another vampire who you made friends with along the way?
I've met other vampires, but they're so brutal, so hateful, and they're so stuck in the past. I want nothing to do with the past. It's the reason I change who I am every so many years. I mean, obviously, the other reason is because people will figure out and hunt me. But I've met a couple, but never wanted to stick around them for too long. And to be frank, they lean in. I don't think they wanted to be around me very long either. Said I annoyed them or something strange.
Red Path internally. People say the same thing about me.
Fuck them.
Fuck him. Red Path's kind of pensively this whole time, just been nodding and stuff, and really trying to wrap his head around how somebody ends up like Matthias, and them explaining it is helping, but he's more so just kind of he's a little bit absorbing the sad, which is unusual for him.
Matthias just kind of looks over. I should make this clear. Yes, it's a sad story, boo-hoo, and makes for marvelous theatrics, I assure you. But there has been a lot of good, to be sure. I've seen this country change over those decades. I've seen it become great, I've seen it fall, but I've seen it rise again. Even right now, things look positively miserable. And I'll be real, I'm not going to get involved because, oh no. But I am optimistic with folks like yourself and strange compatriots you walk around with. Not to mention the many others that I've only briefly spoken with. I'm optimistic it'll turn around again. It'll take a long time for you, but for me, it'll be a blink of an eye, and I appreciate that.
Well, not exactly.
Oh?
I haven't really had time to think about the fact that I'm also going to have to watch my family turn gray and wither.
Ah. Yes, that's right. Well, I won't lie to you. It does hurt. It is rough to see them pass you, quite frankly. But the thing is that is nice is... this sounds strange, but it is genuinely wonderful. You can always help them. Throughout all of it, no matter how old and gray or how much difficulty they have with walking or any of that, you can always be there to make their life a little easier. They can still look at you as if not a single day has passed and smile and be proud of you. That's how my parents were. That's how my siblings were. Even the fake ones. I mean, even ignoring the age thing, the lifespan of it all, people do leave us sometimes. And it is miserable, to be sure. Especially when we have no control of it. If they're toxic, get rid of them. But if they're people that we care about, you just need to appreciate the time that you do have. And lucky for you, one thing I have learned in that long, long time is no one is truly dead until they're forgotten. So keep them in that noggin, and they're not going anywhere.
That's a good way of looking at it, yeah.
It helps. If you do need anything, Red Path, obviously our circumstances are very, very different. But do know that you'll have a friend sticking around for longer than you. And they just set the plate down with the fork and knife.
It's nice to help people. It's a nice idea. It's a nice sentiment that you'd always be around to help the ones you love.
I'm sure you'll at times think it's not fair, it's rubbish, why me, all of that. But there are also plenty of moments where you thank your stars you are the way you are. Like I mentioned myself, I've seen so many wonderful things in a number of lifespans. I've got to experience different things because I got to be different people. There's also a lot of plays that people don't remember, so I can just recycle them, and so that's a whole thing, but...
Gotta be careful with that. I think some historians might catch on there.
No, you change the names enough, it's fine.
Looks supernatural. It just looks like you're a hack.
Just looks like you're ripping off old stuff.
Right. Well, Mr. Redpath, is there anything else that I might do for you? Because you've
Did
given...
anybody ever care for you, though?
Whew! Huh? Wow! It's gonna come swinging at the last second with that one, huh?
Fucking brutal, man.
Does anyone love you?
No, I don't mean it in that way, though. Obviously you were loved and cared for, but... You would hope that... I would hope that the door goes both ways, you know?
They shrug. Not always, and that's not always terrible, because sometimes just making someone else's day better is enough to make yours better too. I realize what a cop-out answer, I realize, but it is true. That being said, there have been some family members that very kindly worked very hard to make my life a little bit easier. Like, I couldn't go out into the sun very often, if at all, and so they covered for me. I had one individual who looked strikingly similar to myself, so they handled all of my day excursions. They basically eradicated their own identity just so that I could maintain appearances. Obviously, I compensated these people exceedingly well. And yes, I'd even fallen in love a couple times.
I guess that was just a greedy way of thinking of it then for me.
How do you mean?
Well, if you're gonna be the one carrying on the memory, then take care of the library. Does that make sense?
Oh, I think I understand. Well, consider this. Yes, you have to care for them all the time, but let's be real. They're never going to forget you anyways. You are a spark in their lives, an individual who changes the course of their life. And you get the luxury to see the whole thing. Just make sure you appreciate every single day. You may get a lot of them, but they're not all the same.
Guess we'll have to make a good show of it then.
That's the spirit right there. Well, this got a little on the depressing side, but I do hope it...
No, it's not depressing. This is, I wouldn't say uplifting, but it's definitely something to think about. It's honest, is what it is.
It's honest. Nice to do that sometimes, huh?
I prefer to do it all the time.
Another luxury you should appreciate. But don't feel like you're landlocked on my boat. If you have other places to be, people to see, people to care for, you might want to get going.
He's looking down at his hands now. I don't know if I've described it before. I think I might have, but
Maybe once.
Maybe once. But just as a refresher, they've kind of... It's like his extremities, his hands and his feet. They've kind of changed texture over this past few weeks since he's realized what his deal is. His hands have this sort of marble-like texture to them now, and it first really he started to notice it after the Phantom Warden? What was that guy thing called?
Phantom Crusader.
Phantom Crusader. After he got, like, physically disposed by it, where he was, like, thrown into the floor, it was that wound that basically was the first one he noticed. Is that any wounds he's taken since then, his skin has kind of changed to a different texture, and it's gotten harder, it's gotten like this weird shininess to it. Still feels like skin to him, but it's become harder and more dense. And he reaches out and he feels his hand, and because, you know, he's been there cooking all day and all that, and his body is becoming harder even though he wants to be softer, and he hates it.
Yeah. Well, on the positive side, your hair is still soft.
His hair is still soft. His hair will never not be soft. It could be fully molted and you would still have a nice little braid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I don't know if this would be a case at all, but do you think this conversation has helped Redpath emotionally in some capacity? Doesn't need to be anything major, but just the idea that this was a positive reinforcement instead of a negative one.
I don't think that he would come to a conclusion about it quick enough.
Much
to
to think
right
about.
now. Yeah. For right now, it's mostly just things to think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely didn't end as negatively as some other conversations have.
I certainly hope not. Matthias didn't want that at all.
Yeah.
Could have been a way bigger asshole about it if that's what Matthias wanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're welcome to stay on the boat for longer. Matthias doesn't care what you do, but they just want to make sure that you get what you want.
He will probably bring some leftover ice cream to Deletta and then head back to the hotel.
Oh, Deletta is ecstatic.
Yo!
She like borderline cries when you hand it to her.
Girl, go ahead. Cry your eyes out, girl, if that's what you need.
It's been such a stressful day. She like when you go to see her, she's just in Ledoux's office, and she like still in her beautiful dress. Hair is down though, and she is just like laying on the couch, like arm hanging off of it, and just like sleeping. But then she gets a nice big bowl of ice cream, and it just makes her whole night so much nicer.
That's what ice cream
Very
does. You check the description. That's the stat boost it gives you.
Makes
It
your
does give you
night
that.
a whole lot nicer.
Makes your night a whole lot nicer. Yeah. So I figure what we can do then.
I do want to do something this evening, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump back.
I'm gonna intrude upon Dia, and I hope Aaron is actually here. He is on mute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool.
So
Alright.
I think at a certain point, Fez is unconscious
Yeah.
in bed.
And after a certain point, Nash has gotten fed up with Maze yelling.
Yeah, he asked, are you gonna yell while writing? No, I'm not. Does.
Does.
You lied!
I know it would be like, you know, him just talking loud like he was doing before, but I'm just imagining Maze silently scribbling away with a quill and then just...
I love that.
So hard that the mic tried to
Just Discord
save
cut it
us.
out.
Yeah, you were censored. Yeah, Maze has intruded upon Dia's time. You know, doing the thing, asking about play and such, just existing in this space. Yeah, like I feel like I'm doing a good job with what I'm going for here, but it's just too hard to say without an entire scope of life experience, which is absolutely insane given that I'm the oldest person in this room.
Well, it's not the years, it's the mileage.
You're telling
What are
me.
you, what are you struggling with?
It's that romance as a concept is very important to me, but I don't fully get it.
Well, it makes sense. What level of experience do you have with it?
Other than the occasional spike of intense feelings for you, not a whole lot.
She's been looking down at the book she's scribbling in and like copying back and forth from with a pen the whole time. And you say that, and her head kind of jerks up for a second. And she smiles and then unsmiles for a moment and goes back to writing, but you can see that she's a little bit satisfied to hear that. Yeah? I feel like she sets the pen down, leans back. I've sort of gotten the impression that you've been a bit fed up with my shit recently.
I have. It's led me to the conclusion that you're a terrible person to be in love with.
Don't say that in my girlfriend's presence while she's awake. You got that?
Yeah, I didn't plan on it. That's why I did
Okay.
it now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say to that.
It can just be what it is.
Is that and there's really never been anyone else?
There hasn't really been much opportunity for anybody else. I certainly have a lot of respect and appreciation for people. You'll learn to live with it. Thanks,
How do you even
Hiker.
have that?
You learn to live with it.
Perfect.
I'm deleting him now.
Now Hiken is
Hiken is-
well and truly dead.
He is so unimportant, it's unreal.
Pull it together, people. But
Well-
yeah, I have certainly a lot of respect for different people. And sometimes it does arise in a feeling similar to what I feel for you.
And, out of curiosity, who are some of said people?
I see a lot of the things I like about you in Pure.
I see a lot of the things I like about myself in her.
Then we agree.
Mm-hmm. She has an adorable sleep.
Cocks an eyebrow.
No, it just takes me back to... Takes me back to, you know, the days of my youth. I had a lot more time for that kind of stuff, because I wasn't, you know... Well, gosh. The last however many months it's been has been a real fucking whirlwind. So, moments when I can just, you know, two gestures down, do stuff like this have been few and far between. Just like moments when I can sleep as late as I want and not have to worry about kicking someone in the face while we're sharing a bed.
Yeah, that makes sense. You know, I didn't really think about it until now, but I'm kind of jealous. You're able to reminisce on your past like it's a good thing. I don't really have that luxury.
It's a mixed bag, but I mean, I'd rather have good or ill to reminisce on than nothing, that's for sure.
There's the occasional bit of good for me. It's all sort of focused around one key figure, but I suppose it still counts. Overwhelmingly, though, not a lot to talk about.
Would that be Kingsley or someone else?
Kinsley, yeah. He was a nice guy. I didn't really get that at the time. It's
So
hard,
he treated
you know?
you better in retrospect than the others?
Yeah. It's hard it's easy upon hindsight. In the moment it was difficult, because you have one person, exactly one person, who wants to treat you right, and everyone else, by and large, ignores you. Makes them seem like they're the outlier, you know?
Yeah, no, they're the weirdo, right? Yeah.
But he was right, and I was wrong about pretty much everything, so if I ever see him again, I'll be sure to bring it up.
I'm sure he'd like that.
It'd be a payoff for him investing in me, if nothing else.
Well, there's almost nothing better than being told by someone, "Yep, you were right all along." But I think he'd probably also appreciate being told that he's the center of your good memories there.
Maze nods a bit, goes back to pondering the script.
Right. So this romance, what have you got? What's your block here?
Well, I figured the best way to write is to write what you know. And admittedly, there's not a whole world of things that I know, but Matthias seemed pretty attached to this idea of, what was the original one? Behind the Waterfall, something like that?
Beyond the Waterfall.
Beyond the Waterfall. I like that imagery, and when I hear Beyond the Waterfall, I'm imagining some sort of monster. But this is a romantic comedy, and from my experience, comedy exists very well for humanizing those who have very little humanity to them.
Yeah.
So I figure, why not a romantic story about falling in love with some sort of monster? I.e., Shape of Watering the fuck out of this.
You are writing what you know. You rascal.
It's certainly where my well of expertise is. Maze looks down at the script and sees that he's wrote a strangely large amount about peppers. Oh no.
Oh no.
I thought I didn't absorb any of it, but it turns out I absorbed all of it, and I think that's worse.
No, the capsaicin!
Oh, that's not good. Erases some of that.
And so the monster is behind the waterfall?
Yeah. Again, that feels like a pretty good well for imagery, right? You can have some dramatic silhouette behind the waterfall, introduce it like, oh god, it's so scary, but then like you pull it aside and no, it's not that bad.
The monster is the reveal, or is the monster the point of view character? It would also be fun if the monster behind the waterfall had to get someone else to deliver their romantic soliloquy for them. You know, someone normal looking.
Oh, and then we could
That's-
have a
the
comical
words were
misunderstanding.
Yeah, there's the ticket. Classic third act misunderstanding. No one's ever seen it before.
Yeah, that's a good thought. Maze pauses for a while, and then just sort of apropos of nothing. What should I do about my mom?
Stops mid-sentence again, writing. Kind of looks up.
Well, time to hit the old dusty trail.
What indeed? What, why do you think you have to do something about her?
That's kind of the thing, is that there is a part of me that deeply wants to continue engaging with her, and the other part of me that's realistic and knows that my presence in her life will not be a good thing.
Oh, you say you know that. How do you know that?
I have it on reasonable authority that her husband's not gonna be terribly fond of me. And besides, our presence tends to cause a lot of hoopla. Like, she has a picturesque life here. It's a tropical, gorgeous spot, and she just teaches art. Like, that has to be everything she's ever wanted.
Does have it pretty sweet. But... I mean, I think you also have to consider... If she doesn't know about you, or doesn't know who you are, that you're still alive, right now, even if she has exactly what she wants, she doesn't really know what she's missing, does she?
I suppose not. But let's say I do tell her. It's not like I'm going to suddenly settle down with her. I still have a lot of important business to do with you guys.
Yeah, not anytime soon, I suppose. Well... I guess it's whether you think what would leave you with more regret if you introduced yourself to her and we went on our way wherever we're going after this, you know, assuming we survive this.
Right. Optimism.
You went on your way, and if you ended up, I don't know, dying somewhere down the line before you ever got to come back, would you have more or less regret for having made her aware that you exist and then not been able to live out a lot of your life in her company? Or would you have more regret if you never even got as far as letting her know that you existed? I don't think there's a right answer, but
that's the problem.
That seems like... Yeah.
It's a horrible catch-22, and the more that I think about it, the more it makes me want to cry, and I don't know if I even can do that.
Biologically or emotionally?
I mean, biologically, I'm sure I'm capable. My eyes have watered before. I certainly experienced a lot of that when I smashed my cock and balls against a doorknob.
Why'd you gotta say it like that, man?
You slammed your cock in the car door.
I slammed my penis in the car door.
What should I do about my mom?
So, yes, biologically, I'm fairly confident I can manage it, but my emotional experiences are still, by and large, quite dull.
That may be so, but I can tell you admittedly, because of the relatively short time that I've known you, it's really night and day with when we first started working together. So who knows what a crybaby you'll be in a year from now.
See, now that's funny.
Yeah, use that.
Think
I believe
will.
that's what we call a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Look, I guess I would just say, I mean, like I said, there's no right answer, and even if there were, I certainly wouldn't have it, but I think you should think long and hard about what you want out of this situation. And I think some people might say, well, think about what your mother would want. Would she want to see you? Would she want not to? But that's bullshit in my opinion. You're the one who has to make the choice, and you only know what you want, so do your best to secure it for yourself, I think. Even if you end up making a choice that makes that's not the one she would have wanted, well, it's not only her life.
I suppose it isn't. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, anytime. It's, family can be a tricky thing.
Yeah. I don't have a whole world of experience with it. It's kind of all come to now, and it's coming to a head rather quickly.
Yeah, I suppose most people's families aren't a mystery they have to solve by collecting a trail of evidence.
No, not generally.
At least you got some nice paintings out of it either way.
Yeah, right?
Parthena may have been a huge bitch, but she had nice taste.
No kidding.
Except for that statue.
Yeah, that was gaudy and horrible. Sorry, quick looping back to it.
Yeah.
We almost escaped from it. I don't think I've ever heard you mention your family.
Stopped writing again. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Was there a second half to this thought?
No, that was about it. Generally speaking, when I present you with a thought, you sort of go on a lengthy tangent about it. You do most of the legwork in the conversation. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm, It's not something I'm... man. Throws the pen down, kind of rests her head in one of her hands. The things I want to say to you about this and the things that I ought to say to you are different. And it's really hard for me to know where to go with that. If you're ever interested, like if you're wondering, are you gonna get to meet my family the way I guess I coincidentally ended up getting to meet yours, it's not very likely to happen.
That wasn't much of an expectation.
As far as I know, I think they're fine. But they're not. You know, I said, like, you know, it's important what you want. I don't want to be in their lives, and I doubt they would want to be in mine now. Not with the way things are right now.
That's probably unfortunate, given your tone.
I think If I'm lucky... Man. If I'm lucky... And this sounds very cruel to say. If I'm lucky, I'll never again be in a state where they'll want that. Or where they'll feel comfortable with it. I don't know how to say... I don't wish them ill, but that's just how things are.
It sounds very complicated. It's clearly an awkward topic for you, so forgive me for bringing it up.
Nah, it's alright. You're right that I do like to just talk and talk and talk. And I do it instead of thinking sometimes. Yeah.
For whatever it's worth, I'm glad you're in my life.
I'm kind of relieved to hear that, because I thought it was a little bit in doubt after our big group discussion on the boat.
Make no mistake, Dia. You're a lot. You're so much. But that's just who you are.
Well, that's... I legitimately will take that as a compliment. If I were any less than a lot, I think I would probably not be where I am now.
It certainly isn't an insult. At least I don't mean it as one.
I hope that I can manage to become even more than a lot, but without, I just want to be more of me,
Sure. And for the sake of our future relationship and our current one, I hope that you being more doesn't cause any bad problems.
Yeah.
Because that's where my concerns are.
Well, I'm probably still gonna make a lot of mistakes in that regard, just knowing me. But
of course, but it's not like I haven't had my fair share of complete fuck-ups over our time knowing each other. It's a give and take.
Maybe so. Well, I appreciate it. And I'm honestly, I won't lie, kind of flattered that there may still be a thing. Maybe just a little bit of a torch there. I don't know if anything will come of it, but that's pretty cool. Puts a little spring in my step.
It's a spark that seems to have a lot of longevity.
Nice. Alright, I'm gonna get back to this writing. Come back if you get stuck again.
Yeah, sure.
We can definitely workshop the monster if you need to come up with something that can actually be realized by stagecraft, because I have many ideas.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm gonna try and hammer away at this, and hopefully not irritate Nash a third time.
He can, if it's a problem, I don't forget, you can honestly, you can probably send him in here if you need the room to yourself, because I'm not gonna be in the bed for a while.
But what if I need his input?
I mean, you came in here to ask for my input.
Yes, and you and Nash have very different perspectives.
Look, be honest. Are you yelling while you write?
I certainly don't think so.
Give me a sample of your upper range. What do you consider not yelling?
I mean, I can't just perform on the spot.
All right. That's okay. I'm gonna ask Nash later if you were yelling while you write. And if Nash tells you you're yelling while you write, you'll know. We'll send him in here if he's having trouble sleeping as a result of it, right?
Yeah, right. See you in the morning, then.
Mm-hmm. Have a good night.
Before you go back to writing, Dia,
Yeah.
Addis just pops up in your mind for a moment. You said you wanted to be more you, but I do question, who is that? You don't have to answer now. Just food for thought.
Yeah. Food for thought indeed. She, Dia, stands up from the table and takes the little piece of paper that, that had the notes on her from the magic circle, walks over here and chucks it in the fireplace. Good riddance.
Fair enough. That's the old you.
That's no one at all.
Yeah, just a plain Jane, am I right? Well, you think on it, dear diadem.
You don't ever say that to me. Understand?
I understand. My apologies.
Thank you.
Redpath, what were you doing?
Pacing.
Doing some pacing in the hallway.
However, he has decided he has. Hold on. There's crumbs on my keypad. On my mouse.
Not crumbs.
Not crumbs. I cannot scroll. I cannot control my boy. He was pacing around out in the hall with a book, and he has convinced himself to sit down and finally open the book.
Oh, about
The book.
Okay. Here, I'll get some slightly different music.
An eventful night for the Ebon Ward gang.
Yeah, wow.
Who still doesn't have a team name.
Sure doesn't.
We're just those weird guys.
Who the fuck are these people? Well, we'll tell you who these people are. A goddamn mess.
Not that.
Amaranth at the Horde. Who the fuck are these people?
You are all weirdos.
Yeah. Redpath.
I am he.
You are he. You sit down at the table. There's a little light in here, but you don't have to worry because looking at Duchess, she actually has one of those little blinders on when she goes to bed. And you start flipping through this old journal. And in the journal are many notes from Dr. Urich. You recognize his handwriting, and it's kind of interesting. You just started at the back just because it's in chronological order, and you see that those being the more recent entries, there's like a little more shakiness to the handwriting, but as you go back, it's like a little time capsule. You can see the handwriting become far cleaner, far more precise. Still has that classic Doctor messiness for a couple of things, but you can see him when he was younger.
He's got a very bitter smile about that.
Yeah. And you do notice that there are like little comments and lighthearted jokes, not of like at anyone's expense, but just like jokes that he writes down for himself that were a hit with different patients and specific ones. And you get to the one that takes place. Would you look at that? Number of years equal to your age. And it discusses an Asimar woman who had vibrant, long red hair. But notably, her braid was done in a way where it was alternating between red and gold, as well as a bit of white that's kind of crept on through. The kind of, as described, was a marble-like texture. And the gold hairs itself were actually of the metal gold, but the hair remained soft. And it describes this woman. It took me a long time to finally get her to say her name. She called herself Penelope Sunbreak. Very kind, soft-spoken woman. I wish I could have done more for her, but maybe I can look back at this to help her little baby boy that she was able to name before her passing, Laurent. The woman was horrendously injured. Multiple stab wounds. Not anywhere vital, but blood loss was enough to be problematic. I did all that I could to help her, but there is only so much a man with no magic can do. She made the very simple request. Take care of the young man. Well, it is not my responsibility. Luckily, Inacia, a kind woman, has taken him under her wing and has requested me doctor-patient confidentiality. Do not inform child that he is ASMR. She is optimistic that if he does not know, it will not impact him. A theory that has been brewing apparently amongst ASMR. If they are not aware of their circumstances of birth, perhaps God will not see them and change them. This Penelope woman also made the very simple request that he find his way to her true god, Veloria, the god of travel and earth. Because there is a possibility that should this young man actually molt, he will be part earth like her. But to not be afraid of the open road, to meet new people, and if he were to be so curious, take those roads and try to find more about her. She did not have much time left, and told me that she hailed from the beautiful white sands of Leviara. Curious, though. But what am I to do with this information? She did not provide more details than that. I have sneaking suspicion, based on her accent, might not be specifically from Leviara, but might have lived there for a time. Not too sure what to do with this. No good jokes for tonight, I'm afraid. No good jokes. And that's where it leaves off.
There's only one thought in Redpath's mind. Who the hell stabs a pregnant woman?
Yeah, no, that's really fucked.
That's, for some reason, that's just the thing sticking out to him. That it quite literally stabbed him.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the details that this Penelope woman left behind, she didn't want to leave too much, because whoever would be bold enough and cruel enough to perform such an action, she didn't want that to follow her child.
Yeah. But did sound like she wanted to be followed in some regard.
You get the feeling, based on that little bit of information, it's more, even though some of the roads that she had taken were dangerous, were vile and cruel, it doesn't mean you can't take them. You just need to be a little more careful, but there are good folks on the other side and that you can meet along the way. It kind of becomes clear why Valoria might be interested in you. You've never been the holy sort, to be sure. Holiness kind of found you, you know?
It was literally his mom saying, hey, look out for my kid.
Yeah. And based on what you know of certain people that are in Sweetstone, looks like she held up her end of the bargain pretty well, actually. Or as best as she could.
He will think on this for the rest of the night. At some point, he probably goes to bug Dia because he knows she's still gonna be awake. And he will sit down and study with her. They will have their girls' nights preparing spells.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes. Come step into my office. My hours are still open.
Hey, girl, it's time to cry.
Yeah. And if you are ever interested in diving further into the book, you have a feeling there might be more details hidden in elsewhere. But that is the very specific of like, this was the night of our attempted at surgery and we just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
This feels like a stopping point.
Yeah.
I would like to do... yeah, no, we'll stop there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think it can be an opener for next time.
Okay.
So, what will happen next time on Ebon Ward?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what indeed.
Yeah.
Been a long time since we've had a Maze Dia scene. I really enjoyed that. Thank you, Lamb.
Yeah, that was nice.
So glad to hear it. This was this is an emotional one. Everybody's talking about their feelings.
Yeah.
Except
Welcome
Nash.
to-
We'll hear from him soon, though.
What's going on, Nash? What's going on, buddy?
Well, when Maze came back in the room, Nash was sitting at the fireplace like when your kid gets home late, you know, and wasn't supposed to sneak out. He's just...
I'm sorry, I was clearly annoying you. That made me feel angry.
I go into rage now.
I raged for 3 rounds, Maze.
I broke a flower pot.
Right.
You guys get all your emotional stuff, but you gotta promise Nash gets some. So no,
Right,
it's
of
fine.
course. We have to know how Nash feels. Alright, good session. We're gonna do fan art soon, but first, hey, we have a Discord. You should consider joining that if you haven't already. It's our community hub. If you want to talk about how this episode made you feel, then that's the place to do it.
Don't mock them.
Mean.
What's your problem?
I'm sorry, it's all I know.
Lamp used up the entire wellspring of emotional sincerity there, and now it's gonna take another 3 months to recharge.
I used all of it with Bow, and then I took a break, and now I've used it again. But yeah, also, we have a Patreon. Consider supporting us there if you haven't already. For just a couple bucks a month, you can get access to all of the beautiful custom artwork that we have on display in these games, and also the money that you throw at us there funds the artwork of this game. My goodness, it's an infinite loop. The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. One of the cool things is that we recently posted human generics on the Patreon. So those are really useful for your games, and every month, so long as we have more generics, we're gonna toss on another batch.
Just gonna keep posting generics, because surely you have a use for them. Everybody does. And yeah, with all of that shillery out of the way, Will should change the music, and I will open the Ender. It's just too sad. There we go.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, the Ender for Ebon Ward 114. There's nothing wrong with joining a heist, you son of a bitch, I'm in.
This was made by Sign Centaur. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. At the top of the pile from where, Jonas? Let me are in heist. Yeah, let's go. I don't know how we're gonna do any part of this other than brute force, so, you know, I guess we'll figure it out.
Yep.
Talk to Duchess.
We will. Thank you, Word Jonas. Then from Salem.
That's one of them there pog chimps.
Oh,
This reference.
this is us in pre-stream. We were making fun of radio commercials and how they have no audience.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Salem. Then from Goblin Pink.
Behold, the prize of which you seek. I spent all night on it. Thoughts?
The cool ass.
That's a fucking
Oh,
Stussy.
compass.
Thank you, Goblin Pink. Then from Barton.
I'm sorry. Who are these people?
Hard to say.
The moment
Yeah.
you realize you've spotted the PC's party.
Like, just play it cool. Thank you, Barton. And from Skel Snurnvan, gum disease. That's right,
Lovely.
buddy.
Thanks, kiddo. Pat.
Then from Sign Center, what flag is this?
That's the aromantic flag.
The romantic one, which is wrong.
Yeah.
Because we just had a talk at the end.
Early in the Imager, it was from before that scene.
Right.
No, I know it was, but it's funny in hindsight.
Yeah, I know.
It's just astonishing.
Maze.
One of the most poorly aged images for an Imgur.
I'm
Maze was watching the Imager fill up mid-session, was like, oh, fuck that, I gotta set the record straight.
Sorry, I'm a wrong-mantic.
Sorry, I'm just a mess.
Waffle.
Then from Taki.
Jesus. Waffle.
That's a little intense.
Outstanding, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Takio. Then from Sign Centaur.
Wanted.
Wolf Lady, reward 1 trillion whatever currency.
1 trillion whatevers.
1 trillion sand.
Wow. Thank you, Sign Centaur. Then from Wario Fan 63.
What makes you kids think you can just waltz in here and make demands of the Hersif family?
Oh, I'm quite confident we can sweeten this deal for you.
Holy shit! Gas station Funyuns! Yeah, go to my horde and take whatever you want!
I like her peanuts face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really
The
good.
implication that he can't
Oh
get
my
gas
God.
station Funyuns.
Thank you, Derek.
Oh
Holy fuck, Skip.
Jesus, Skip.
That's
quite
really funny.
something.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm Payne's white person smile.
Thank you, Skipped. My
Thank
goodness.
you so much.
And then from Sign Centaur.
Oh man, yeah, a lot happened
A
today.
lot. There's lava. There's Coca-Cola. Son
Gum
of a
The
bitch.
disease. on the lower
deepest
right.
lore.
There's the stone man.
I slammed my penis in the car door.
Everybody's melting.
Just
Guy Fieri is here.
just grand. Thank you.
Total, you son of a bitch, Evan.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Well, thank you folks so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for giving that artwork. We really appreciate it. And Will,
Hey,
thank you so much for running this. This was a blast of a session.
yeah, thanks for playing. I think we'll get into a little more action next session. So
You always say that.
that's not my fault. I thought
Oh wait,
we had.
we have one more.
Oh, one more.
A last
One
minute
more.
entry.
Whoa, this is the lastest minute entry.
Where is it?
These are the
I-
lastest minute dungeon pals. I
I
don't
don't
see
know
it in the
where it
Discord
is.
either.
What do you mean you don't know where it is?
You're the one telling us about it.
It said one more, please.
One more, please. Gimme a sec. Oh, you got a very brief second there.
You have until I finish this goddamn outro, buddy.
Well, I will say, nice work, folks. It was nice to see some of the more serious sides of the characters and things of the sort. And
yeah.
it was also nice to talk about Matthias's dealio.
Creature.
It's
That almost made
Okay.
me cry real life.
Goblin Pink has submitted it, tossed it in right as the garage door came down.
perfect. Let me just open that up. Dog shit. Thank you so much for holding up the end of the stream for that. And thank you, my fellow players, so much for being here.
Yeah.
You guys made this an absolutely wonderful experience. As always, give yourselves a great big pat on the back. And chat, thank you so much for being here, showing your support however you do it, be it through donations or artwork or simply just being here at all. Your support, however you give it to us, means the absolute world to us. Give yourselves a great big pat on the back. Thank you so much for being here this time, and thank you for being here next time. Say goodbye to chat, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Toodles!
Toodles! I said